Let's get it. let's get it. Hello and welcome everybody. You are watching PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims 2021 brought to you by R3G Gaming. My name is Fixes, of course. I'm joined along with Necro, and we did see all these teams going against each other yesterday in the map of Sandhawk. But today we are heading into Erangel, three maps and three exciting action packed games that we have lined up for you guys. So Necro, early speculations. Do you think today is the day where the Nepali teams are gonna shine?
Well, they are doing great, to be honest. What we saw yesterday from T2K, they were managing to survive in those late game situations, but somehow they were getting, kind of unlucky in those factors where they were getting caught off guard from their back lines and stuff. But I really feel like this might be the game for F4. Like today might be the day where F4 shines because the first day we have seen F4 in their Erangel maps playing so good, and overall they were just dominating the entire field. And now I
Yeah.
really feel like F4 is going to be putting on an absolute great performance again.
I mean, yeah, certainly, because today we are finally going to have the repetition of the maps because the first set is already done. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the prize pool as to what is on the line over here. $2,000 is what we are talking about for the entire season. The first position, however, receiving $1,000, and the second position, third and fourth, following up with the price mentioned in front of your screen. So, considering how Blood Legion really got the first chicken yesterday, there is high probable chances that they might do well, or they're kind of fizzling out early game if they aren't able to survive. So yes, today it's going to be really important, and all these teams have gone against each other in the past in the same map
Hmm.
of Erangel, so they do know where their ladder is in fact going to drop. So that might also be one of those advantages that these teams have to work around with.
Well, exactly. And even yesterday, we saw STALWARTxFLEX just absolutely sweeping out the map of Sandhawk in the second match, of course. And then
Yeah.
just overall way they were playing was just so good. They actually were in those back lines for all the teams, and they didn't have any other choices because they were getting capitalized from the front lines, and then from the back lines it was STALWARTxFLEX. Then who are they going to be choosing to fight? Of course, they're getting pressured even from the front, from the back, and the STALWARTxFLEX were just wiping out each and every single squad. That was just an absolute beauty.
Yeah, obviously, kind of being those cunning guys that they are. So
Hmm.
apparently they're sitting on the tippity top right now, outseeing the likes
Yep.
of F4. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the point structure and see for ourselves as to how the points are going to be distributed. Of course, we've seen this from the last PMPL itself. Moving on to this current PMPL, will be following the same point structure in which the winner, the one who gets the chicken dinner, gets 15 points, and so on, reducing down to the 13th and 16% getting nothing. But the highlighted reel about this point structure is, of course, that one kill, 1 point feat that we have for you guys. So for every single kill, you get that 1 point. So kind of a meta where you can really make those comebacks. Does not really matter if you had a very bad early first game. In the second game, if you play your hearts out, if you play it smart, just like
Hmm.
how StalWartxFLEX did yesterday, you
Yep.
never know. You never know. You can make a lot of huge jumps. But then again, coming back to teams like Venom Legends, they have been really struggling.
Oh.
But that being said, let's take a look at the squad roster and see which are the teams that are going to be participating with us today.
Well, exactly. This is one of the teams that is on the top. Now, over here, if you take a look at Group A, of course, P and Crew, now they are not doing that great overall, but they're still, managing to get those overall kill points for themselves secured. So it doesn't really matter, they're still doing decent in those overall leaderboards. Then Blood Legions yesterday fixes, they actually finally managed to secure a chicken dinner for themselves. And that was just an absolute iconic moment for them as well. And overall team, now they have one more player added in them. That's going to be Nuclea. That is just absolutely doing good for them. Now, Nuclea, of course, is one of the real good players that Bangladesh region has to offer. And certainly, Nuclea is actually, standing out for his name.
Yeah, he certainly is. And,
Hmm.
yesterday we did not get to see Dominic, but did not really
Yeah.
feel like it because the
Yep.
way he was performing, I mean, he's kind of one of those pieces in the puzzle that Blood Legion can certainly use in certain special maps, right?
Hmm.
Now, moving forward, carrying forward the discussion, we were talking about Venom Legends. Even we did not see a good performance coming out from the lads of Futurestation Gremlin Storm because this
Hmm.
is also one of those teams that has a lot of potential, has got those big names. And the same can be said with Carnage. I mean, they're getting those skills, but in terms of positioning, they're sort of lacking out. So maybe, coming down to the good old Erangel that we have lined up. So I think that just might work out for these teams.
Well, I mean, that exactly might work out because we've seen in the past, overall Carnage do so good in those PMC or group stages as well on the map of Erangel. And I really feel like Carnage does have it in them. But again, one of the teams that we didn't expect to actually get a chicken dinner. 7C stepping up. Now, of course, they are one of the phenomenal teams, like no doubt about it. But I mean, it just came out of nowhere and actually got a chicken dinner on the third map of Sandhawk, on the third match. And that was just so absolutely mind blowing. I was like, I did not expect 7C to actually come out on top in that last game there.
I mean, yeah, of course, the kind of a gameplay that the boys from Seven
Yeah.
Seed really did put up, after Fear really coming out. So that was sort
Hmm.
of a game changer. We did see Tota coming in the last week, one player from Sri Lanka who has impressed me with the way he had played in the PMCO last time around. But there you have the schedule for day number 4 that we have lined up for you guys. So it's going to be Erangel, and Erangel. And
Yep.
if we talk about the first game itself, we have teams from groups A and B going against each other, followed by B and C, and ending things with C and A. So yeah, 7C is definitely one of those teams that I must watch out for. But apart from them, talking about teams like Deadeyes, I mean, they've been doing pretty good as well. I mean, considering they've got the likes of Hungry Box, who's playing so well, and even we
Hmm.
did see Malik coming into the roster of Carnage. So a lot of changes here and there has been made. So it's very important to see as to which teams are the ones going to perform. However, like you mentioned, F4 had been sort of silent, and one of the primary reasons that I believe is due to the absence of Rahman, because that one player sort of gives you that extra
Hmm.
kick, gives you that extra punch in your roster, gives you that extra bit of a confidence. Because every single time this man comes into the team, I feel a huge uproar in the confidence of the players. So we've got to see as to how Team F4 is going to play their cards tonight.
Well, I mean, exactly as you did mention, Rahman being one of the best player Pakistan region has to offer. And of course, I'm pretty sure he has a lot of fans as well, waiting for him, eager for him to actually
Yes.
play on the side of F4. And I'm pretty sure maybe this time we might be seeing Rahman actually playing the game as well, because this is the map of Miramar and where F4 really thrives. They do love the map of Miramar. They do love the map of Erangel. So maybe F4 are going to be, dominate the entire field this time.
Maybe, but here you go. The first flight path trajectory heading all the way from the western side, cutting through the Everest mountain and heading all the way to which is Nahapori. And I mean, if you talk about the trajectory of the flight, it's quite evenly divided. A lot of
Hmm.
teams are not going to have a lot of trouble getting to their desired drop location. But apart from that, Necro, I really want to see where the circle is going to form. And this is
Uh
where
huh.
I'm going to throw you under the spotlight. Your prediction, sir.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I really like a military-based circle because we all do know, when these teams actually try to get on the military island, there's just so many fights forced against each other. Especially, we all do love when these small fishes are swimming in the water, and then there's someone, the fisherman, on the base, and he just absolutely mows each and every single person down in the water who is trying to swim his way across, and then so many fights happening over there. So I definitely like a military-based circle for myself, but still, I mean, we never know. Their curveball might be hitting us anytime soon.
It certainly will. But right
Hmm.
now, the way teams have taken the plunge, we do see
Oh, look at
Kapafel
that.
engaging between the players of Futurestation, Gremlin Storm, and God's Reborn, of course, onto its western Georgia Paul city. So that is one of those early engagements that we might get to witness. But here we have in front of our screens the players of PN Crew, Legend, rather, getting his buggy. Would want to make an instant move, I believe, towards Severny because that's where they love to go. That's where they thrive.
Exactly. I mean, and of course, this is more kind of like that Georgia Pool favorite circle and even that Gotka. So I really feel like the Big Boy Mountain is going to be on use this time. What do you think, so?
I mean, could be, but we haven't really seen a lot of Everest circles lately,
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Because there have been circles that have been in which Everest has been there, but towards the end, it sort of shifts away from it. So a lot of teams
Mm,
are not really preferring to do so.
yeah.
But we do have some early game engagements between the players of T2K and A1 Esports, I believe. And here you have in the hospital compound, God's Reborn against Future Station Kremlin Storm.
I mean, we have seen Gods Reborn in the past go absolutely bonkers with the way these guys just push or execute their strategies. Of course, Future Station, Grimly, and Stone will have to actually watch out because they are separated from their initial teammates. And there comes, the bullets are being fired, the shots are being exchanged. It seems like Yashiro is barely going to survive, but no, it's going to be the back lines. It's going to be Koa dropping down like a Spider-Man from the back, and he's going to be taking down that one man surviving from Gremlin Storm. And as I said, they are kind of split away from their teammates, but just take a look at that. They seem like they are going to be providing a little bit of backup, but it's too late.
I mean, that was pure genius from
Yeah.
Koa over there. The way he took that plunge, Yashiro was barely surviving, and all he had to do
Mm-hmm.
was just be smart. He realized the player is outside the compound, and he took a leap of death over there. And to his fortune, of course, the other player was looking towards Yashiro, as a result of which he did manage to take him down. So, Mashi getting out of equation over here. We've got to see as to how the remainder players of Future Station Gremlin Storm really execute this one, because I love how Sketch has sort of positioned himself. He will be, of course, getting those extra bit of an information now once the players, particularly Kapshi and Evil Eye, try to take a peek and try to take a glance at the players of God's Reborn. But this is where, I must say that. Future Station Gremlin Storm needs to back off, needs to focus on their loot, because
Mm,
the
yeah.
damage has been done. You need to move on
Mm-hmm.
from it, and because this is those very important moments where you need to get those extra bit of ammo, you need to get those extra scopes, you need to get those med
Yep.
kits, your everything that you need in the later half of the circle. So and that is quite a wise decision that they have really done. So they did go out for a peekaboo. They did spot out the players of God's Reborn really playing it out safe. So now they've gone into their own sweet ways.
Exactly. They were on top of the mountain, trying to spot out any God's Reborn player, of course. They were waiting for those free kills to just fly out, but didn't really seem like God's Reborn were going to be giving away their frags that easily. So, of course, a safe play coming from God's Reborn, and then as well from Future Station Gremlin Storm. They're going to be backing off, focusing on their loot, which actually does make sense. Of course, it's the early game stages, as you said, and the loot is going to be much more favorable in those late game situations as well. So, loot is definitely going to be a massive factor inside the game. But for now, it does seem like the hospital circle might be. You know what? Where I actually want this circle to pan out, it's going to be more kind of like on those chargeable containers, because that might be a real interesting circle. Because the fights will definitely be forced as the zone will be shrinking down. But then the only cover which will be left is just going to be those containers, and these guys will have to fight it out in those small lanes.
They certainly will have to, they have to be really careful. But here we have Leon spotting out the players of Future Station, Gremlin Storm, Kapshi. Did stop for a moment over there. Then he did realize that this is not the fight that they can afford to take right now, as they moved along. And we do have the players of Train to Kill right in front of our screen. So this is one of those star-studded rosters that we have been talking about.
Yeah.
Jane, blah blah blah, Utsarga rated. So Frankie is sort of missing out in this one. Maybe they're trying their synergy out with Utsaga. We have also seen in the past, in other regions where you have designated players or designated substitutes for a particular map. So maybe in the map of Erangel, T2K would love to play around with Utsaga.
Exactly. I mean, I really feel like over here he's actually doing a pretty good job with the team overall. The way he's playing, of course, he's playing more kind of like that back end role, which actually does make sense. And of course, he's actually doing an absolutely fantastic job. But TDK still, I mean, not really in their best of the best, forms up till now. But maybe they can step their gameplay up in those later game phases, as we have seen TTK do that a lot of times. So maybe they will be doing that this time as well. But for now, the circle, of course, is going to be the main factor. And Future Station, Gremlin Storm, they really seem like they are kind of struggling when it comes to those manpower over here, because they're, of course, just going to be down to a two-man squad. or a three-man squad. And then, of course, they are so separated out from each other. That's going to be a massive factor inside the game as well. You should not be separated so much from your initial teammates. So you should be actually sticking it out with each other.
Yeah, you certainly have to be. Those are the basics. You've got to stick it out with the textbook rules, and you
Mm,
should not really disobey. Because one of the only things that I can forgive is the fact that if you're having a flank angle, but if you do
yep.
have, you need to have that element of surprise along with having good cover while you're trying to go in and engage. But heavy have. Kremlin Storm not really having a kind of a start that they would have wanted for themselves,
Yeah.
losing out on one of those players. And in
Mm,
terms of loot, they're not really doing good either. If they've got that level one helmet onto its bad rev, it's as good as really having nothing, because does
yeah.
not give you enough damage protection, does not give you enough blockage that you would really want from all that heavy firepower
Mm.
that all these teams possess.
Yeah, exactly. But now take a look at the minimap over there, Fixes. There's so many teams actually outside the circle, and they are taking those late game rotations inside. And I really feel like there might be some fight erupting. We might see some weekly fights going down, and we might see some drive-bys happening as F4 are next to 2K, and even there's one more squad which is going to be PES. They are right next to each other. Then it's going to be DRS on the Asnap Polna side. Then, of course, if these guys are going to be colliding into each other, then that's going to be a massive legendary fight happening over there. But it doesn't really seem like that's going to be the case, because for now, it does seem like they're just having a peaceful journey.
Yes, that is what is going to be the case over here, because Carnage did lose out. I mean, did miss out rather on one of their
Yeah.
players. So,
Oh, no.
and that's a big name. They're not
Mm-hmm.
they're playing without Snipe, so they did not have that luxury that Snipe provides them with the kind of a performance that he's put up in the past. And Malik, hey, you need to watch out. And it's totally understandable considering how the shots really are on towards you, and you are trying to take your vehicle around. The
Yeah.
moment of panic kind of comes in. But now, with that being said, the first airdrop comes out, and that's gonna be an M249. So, I love this weapon. This is a
Yeah.
weapon that creates a lot of noise, but at the same time, if you use it properly, you can just wipe down a whole squad by your lonesome.
Exactly, the weapon of destruction, as I like to call it. And you even know I've given it a specific name. I call it lawnmower, because just the
Yeah.
overall max in size it actually gives you is just absolutely insane. And then you can just mow down anyone which is in front of you. But for now, seems like there's going to be a fight erupting between LoG1 and 7C. And for now, LoG1 are in a massive world of trouble, as they've already lost out on one of their players. And just take a look at Kraken. He's down to such low HP, and he will be taken down as well in the open fields. Of course, unfortunate cover and unfortunate positioning coming in from Kraken there is going to get punished. But now Nemo is going to be a little impatient, is going to be pushing right onto the compound, and it's going to be Rifat taking him down. Rifat still low on his HP, but True Love is going to be the man to take down Rifat. Now there's one last man standing for LoG1. He is barely surviving on his feet, and of course, it's going to be a clean squad wipe from 7C. Beautifully, beautifully executed.
Yeah, absolutely. Memo did make that manly push over there. That was a bold
Yeah,
move. He did get taken down though, but at the
yeah.
same time, I loved how the players of Team 7C really synergized
Mm-hmm.
with each other, managing to fend off the players of Log1 over there who were completely lost. We did expect to see some good amount of nades being used, something
Mm-hmm.
at least from the players of Log1, but they were so rattled by the sheer presence
Yeah.
that they could not really do much, just
Yeah.
having that one knock not being converted. And of course, 7C did come out on top in that one particular fight.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it really seemed like LoG1 was actually scared of 7C there. Like, I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
they were actually so scared, especially when Nemo pushed. Like, Nemo just got absolutely melted by the people of LoG1. It was Rifat who took him down. But still, I mean, Nemo more kind of like being on that, aggressive side. He got caught off guard. But what exactly matters is even if you make a small mistake, how much your teammates are capable of covering it up, that's going to be a massive factor. And that is where a synergy of team actually comes into play. And that's how 7C just showed us that they are one of the best teams out there with a lot of experience.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those teams that had really impressed me during the PMPL.
Mhm.
But that was a different team, of course. You had the likes of Hungry Box who had the potential to do something great. Now they are now Hungry Box is praying under the DE banner. But look at Respect,
Yep.
he is completely lost. We did see the players of Freestyle making a lot of silly mistakes yesterday, but
Mhm.
they still managed to have a good one particular game in Sandhawk. But that's just about it. Nothing else apart from that. But Malik finally coming into the aid for his teammate. That's going to be Vegeta, one of those crucial members that Freestyle know that they have to keep him alive because he's one of those killmongers who once starts rolling does not really stop.
Well, I mean, exactly. On freestyle, I do really feel like they have one of the best positions going inside the circle as well because they are inside the Gatka region, and we did see that Gatka was right in the center of the circle. And that's definitely going to be helping. But what exactly happened? It's Malik getting absolutely obliterated by that Car 98. That was an insane shot.
Yeah, I mean, if someone can do that, it's the likes of Leon, and you've got to give it to the lads. The cojones he's got. Using that bolt action, and then of course the trade coming out, and he goes down.
Uh,
So that's not really the way that Freestyle would have wanted to start things.
yep.
Malik,
Hmm.
of course, being one of those players whom you would expect to be alive, and dying down in a place like this, that's not acceptable. But Tyrant, he is actually making a move, and I believe this is the Tyrant that we have seen from the good old team Bablu, so which
Hmm.
could not really make it this time. But of course, as things are. The show must go on. We'll gotta see as to how Tyrant performs under this new banner. Here you can see
Oh.
Sketch taking down Malik in the process. There you go. God's Reborn making a push onto his the players of Carnage as Jiggle has already fallen down. And Prabeen, it's all onto this lad. He's got to defend it 1v4, but how is he going to do it? He does not have a lot of things to work around, but Yashiro getting taken shot and being knocked out by Chari from the back line. Sketch needs to move in from behind as Prabeen. He's going to play it out from the kitchen area, taking a few shots, giving away his position as Sketch pushes in. And a lot of mistakes were made, of course, by Prabeen over there. A lot of unwanted movements, as a result of which he goes down, and with him, the entire squad.
I really feel like Praveen was actually panicking in that situation. Of course, if you're going to be left into 1-on-4, then anyone would actually panic in a situation like those. But Carnage, a squad that we did not expect to go down that early, and of course, that is going to be a massive casualty there. Unfortunate turn of events for Carnage. Now, of course, that's going to be a big casualty for entire Nepal region if they're going to be losing out on a squad like Carnage. But now it seems like Freestyle Tyrant is going to be finding Leon there, and that's going to be Skylight Gaming. Leon going down this time. Now, Tyrant definitely hitting a great shot onto him, and Leon certainly testing his own medicine as he did, as he was the person who actually snipes out one of the member
Whoa.
of Freestyle, and now beautiful shots coming in from 7C. This is exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, of course, look at Rick, the way he just sprayed down. First, Vegeta did have that mini 14 on an 8 times, but he does not care. He just continued to start spraying. And with that being said, DRS, they're in a whole world of trouble as another one of their players sort of goes down. And no, it's Carlson, brother, getting a beautiful pick. And Nima has fallen short. Of course, he'll definitely get that res back onto it's him. But Kapshi is trying to lob a few grenades here and there, trying to get one more knock. If he succeed, that might just be the kind of an opening that Futurestation need to get a revive onto its teammate, and they certainly have managed to do
Mhm.
so. But Evil Eye, he needs to change his position. He needs to heal himself up. He's done that, and now Futurestation Gremlin Son, they are retreating.
Well, Galzin overcooking the nades. That's definitely not going to be hitting those anytime soon. But for now, seems like there are a lot of frags happening as DRS, Mr. Burrow, going to be taking down Futurestation Gaming, Futurestation Gremlin Storms Badrift. That's going to be a massive disappointment, of course. And now it's just going to be that last two players for Futurestation alive. It's going to be Evil Eye and Capshi. Now, Evil Eye in a massive water trouble as there's the entire squad of DRS right above him. Now, how is he going to be challenging the fight? Of course, he will have to use those utility and be at least lucky. If he's going to be that, lining up those utilities properly, maybe get one knockdown in, then maybe he will buy himself enough time to actually run away from the situation. But now it seems like DRS are not interested in challenging the fight anymore as they're going to be repositioning themselves as well, which is going to be definitely a good decision. But I really feel like DRS over here should actually focus on completely wiping out the squad of which is going to be Futurestation, of course, because now, I mean, they are just down to two players, and DRS, of course, being one of the legendary teams, I don't really feel like they might be struggling that much.
I mean, Yeah, that is there. But right now, we do see Kapshi actually trying to make a
Oh,
move elsewhere on the sidelines. I did see, in fact, Leo being taken down from the equation again, falling short. So there's some problem going on with
oh
the
no.
boys from Blood Legion. And Nima, well, he certainly lost his buggy. It's burning. He needs to
Oh
get into
no.
cover, and he needs to do it really fast.
Yeah, exactly. Even if a little bit of bullets might actually take that buggy down completely, and even Nima is just down to like 40 HP or something. So that's going to be a massive problem as well. But now this man is not scared of anyone, as he's just going to be running the buggy in the middle of the field and barely surviving as well. Making it out alive is going to be a massive factor over here. But still, he does have the backup coming in. But for now, there's going to be a fight erupting between Peon and SG. It's going to be SG Joker getting the first knockdown in, but then Legend is going to be there from the backlines to actually trade and even things out. And of course, the rest of the backup is coming in from PN Crew there. But now one thing we are noticing over here at Fixes is that Skylight Gaming is actually so separated up all the time. First, it was Leon went down, and now it's just the other teammate of Skylight's going down. What exactly is going on? There are so many teams actually playing that separate angle positioning.
I mean, they're kind of in the shambles over there, but there you have the boys from Regicide making that push. Calzin already being knocked out from the equation, does not really know where the players are. Regicide, they're just praying down into the dark, into the oblivion, and Castle still knocked out. Nima, he's got a huge job on his shoulders right now, and AJ, as Nima even falls down. Regicide making no mistake, just obliterating the entirety of DRS, and they've been having a lot of problems right from the very start, and could not keep
Mhm.
things in a good manner for themselves as they get knocked out in the 30th position. And we certainly do know what does this mean. They're not going to get any position points. It's just those kill points that's going to count. But now Blood Legion, considering they are already did play the join the lobby as a three-man
Oh!
squad, but look at this Oreo, his position. Of course, being compromised, but he did not deter from lobbing a grenade onto its nuclear and just wipe out his existence.
Exactly. Fantastic nade. Now Nuclear in a massive water trouble. He's going to be knocked down, and he's trying his best to make his way towards Gyro, but Gyro might be in a massive water trouble if he actually sticks the res. Of course, that's going to be a factor when he's going to be sticking the res. Maybe the squad of MGS will be pushing them down, but for now, there's a fight erupting as it's going to be Futurestation, Gremlin Storm getting in a fight with Noctu, and Noctu, of course, getting knocked down instantly. So Futurestation are not going to be struggling in a factor like that, but Motu is going to be there to actually provide the backup, throwing those utilities, throwing those nades, and the nades are doing so much damage, and that's going to be Futurestation getting absolutely wiped out, and now their existence is out in the position of 12.
I mean, now it's gonna hurt the boys over here from Futurestation Gremlin Storm, because this is one of those teams that I personally have high expectations from, because they've been playing as a team together from quite some time. They did have their own rips over here,
Oh.
but look at Rig. This man does not seem like he wants to stop, and there you go, the squad being annihilated, the squad being eliminated, and that is freestyle. Going out of the
Oh.
game, taking a rather early exit.
Exactly, and this time we are seeing 7C just absolutely do so good, especially from the last map of Sandhawk, and now they are doing so good in Erangel as well, as they have known how the things are going to be working, or how are they going to be panning things out in their situation, as 7C is obliterating anyone. They have one of the best positions inside the circle as well. All they need to do is just hold it down and take those free shots onto the enemy players that are being exposed, and of course, they're going to be doing the exact same thing, as Fear is going to be showing at maximum accuracy with that DP, and he is going to be doing so much damage, as T2K are again in a fight with F4, and F4 overall do seem like they have an upper edge, as they have the compound for themselves. They are secured from all over the angle, and they are even barraging those nades onto the players of T2K. Now blah 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 is barely surviving as well, as he is surviving that barrage of nades. And just take a look at Wartrux. He might actually get a knockdown onto Jane, but Jane barely surviving, crouches below, behind that little ridge. And of course, Jane is going to be thanking his luck that he made it down in time.
Nerves of steel is what cannot really be said for Voltrix over there, because he completely messed that shot up, to be honest. He
Mhm.
had the player right in front of him. All he had
Mhm.
to do was to speak out and take the shot. But with that being said, Khan already being knocked out, this is going to spell trouble for the players of Team F4 to try and defend this one. But the same case is with the boys from T2K, as blah 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 has gone down. Saga taking quite a chunk of damage. He needs to heal up along with his teammate. But Rated Sir will, of course, want to start cooking grenade. Is it going to go in? Is it going to get that knock onto its Voltrox? And it's been a nuisance over there, but we do have Motu on the sidelines getting a beautiful knock onto its Memo as the action and the drama continues.
Exactly, the action and the drama will be continuing, and seems like F4 again finding another knock on to T2K, as T2K are not really looking good in the position they have. Ready to start going down in the process, and even F4 losing out one of their players. Now this situation is just so intense. These guys are getting knockdowns by each other, and now they are just trading things out onto each other as well, as F4 have lost one of their players, and they are going to be losing another one. It's going to be Voltrox, and now blah 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 might get caught off guard. Of course he will. Destroyer is going to be the man to actually punish him, and then Jane as well taking heavy amount of damage from Destroyer. He's doing an absolutely great job, and of course it's going to be Destroyer coming out on top, and he's going to be the wiping out the existence of T2K. Excellent plays coming in from F4.
I mean, that was intense. The way he just made, that crouch and the last very moment dodging the headshot coming out from M4. Because had that really connected, he was a goner. But 7C, they are in a bit of a pickle over there with the players of Regicide applying so much pressure onto them. Rig has definitely managed to patch himself back up. Memo is doing the same, as they need to get inside the circle and they need to do it quick. But considering how the buggy is almost starting to burn around, it's going to be a tough task for the players of 7C. But look at Rig, he does not intend to stop. He is getting knocks left, right, and center, and will of course want to get one more. This man is a beast. This man is a machine. He is unstoppable right now.
He's just an absolute laser beam, as he's gonna be still moving in with that broken buggy and barely surviving from that blast. Of course, it's gonna be the players of PES Regicide, of course, gonna be destroying. But now Destroyer is gonna be racking up the kills under the last man standing off 7C, and he's gonna be falling down as well, as now it's going to be the squad of Regicide again. They are in a massive water trouble, as there are some players even from those back lines. And take a look at F4. Now they are going to be rotating in the open field, but they are kind of away from their man. It's going to be Destroyed, but Destroy, it doesn't really matter. He's a one-man army. He's going to be destroying the entire squad of Regicide, as he has already managed to secure those 2 kills on Insane and Joker, and now it's just all down to that one last man surviving. It's going to be Nocto. How long is he going to be able to hold on? As Destroyer is not going to be stopping anytime soon. He wants those kills confirmed. He's going to be firing those bullets onto him, and of course he's going to be getting both of those kills confirmed for himself, and still seems like he doesn't really want to challenge the fight anymore, so he's just going to be backing off. A pretty brilliant decision from a Destroyer there. Doesn't really want to give his position away, doesn't really want to give his frag away that easily. Of course, wants to play for his team, and this is what we're saying. A team player fragger, more kind of Destroyer, proving that for himself.
I mean, to be honest right now, I think your predictions are going to come true, because I did not cast the first day, and seems like F4 are in complete control of this game. But, the same can be said for the players of Reborn, the way they've been playing. And, well, Sinister, he's going to hold it on his lonesome over here. And this is really a good thing. A1 Esports, they have not been having the best of their days today. But, F4, the way they are taking those fights, the way they are taking down squads one after the other, that's so impressive. That's such a delight to really watch. We have got 4 teams remaining, 10 players in the lobby, everyone striving to get that chicken dinner, but there's gonna be just that one team who's gonna be coming out on top. Which one will it be? Is it gonna be God's Reborn? Is it gonna be F4? Or is it gonna be the boys from A1 Esports? Anything can be possibly happening over here, because now God's Reborn, they are inside the circle. They have managed to spot down a few players here and there. They've managed to knock down Setan, who was way too much in the open, and he was completely exposed.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, it seems like A1 Esports have one of the best positions inside the circle, as the circle is going to be favoring them. And now Nocto going down, and that's going to be the entire squad of Regicide getting knocked out of this game. And for now, it seems like F4 are in a massive water trouble, as Zayden has gone down, and even Destroyer is taking heavy amount of fire from all over the side. It's going to be people from God's Reborn actually making so much more things so much more tougher for them. But now F4 are still surviving on their knees. They are are barely surviving as they do not really have the position of their life. They need to move inside the circle as the zone will be shrinking down. And of course, God's Reborn, I feel like they are going to be the one to actually have one more kind of like the dominant presence inside the entire circle, because of course F4 needs to move inside, and when they are going to be moving inside, they might get caught off guard in those initial rotations. And of course that is going to be happening as Zayden and Destroyer has went down, and that's going to be a massive trouble for F4.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be. And A1 Esports, they also do have Jax amongst them. But by the looks of Carleen, he has, I believe, spotted down the players of A1 Esports over there and just peppering down those few bullets. And Jax did manage to get that one knock, but that's just about it. Sinister will, of course, get the confirmation. But can he get the revive on towards Jax at this particular moment? Just two teams surviving. It is going to be really troublesome for the players of A1 to really clutch this one out as Sinister continuing the spray, but that's not going to matter as the players of God's Reborn get the final kill, and with that, the beautiful winner chicken dinner.
Incredible plays from God's Reborn. The overall positioning they showed, the overall placement they showed, and just the overall way they're positioning themselves inside those late game situation was just so good. And then they were just pressuring down both of those squad, which were A1 and F4. And F4 couldn't really do much because they had to make a move inside the circle. As the zone was shrinking, they were being forced to actually move along as well. And then A1, of course, had that zone in their favor, but they were somewhere down line struggling in that man advantage situation because God's Reborn had all four of their players alive and A1 only had two of them. So, of course, that's going to be a massive disadvantage factor that A1 had, and then of course they got eliminated. But now again, a big elimination coming in, Fixes over here. That's going to be T2K onto the 7th position, and even Blood Legions. Did we expect them to go down that early?
I mean, no, to be honest, because even teams with the likes of P and Crew, this is also one of the squads that performed so very well when we did get to see those Miramar games. But apart from that, they've been silent. But yeah, look at Destroyer, 7 kills. This lad has been doing so much for his team time and again. And we have been talking about Team F4, finally making a comeback. I believe this is where they do that. But right now, if we move forward with the discussion, Team Flex Stalwart was not playing this one out. They will be there in the next game. So I think that's going to be really, really exciting and interesting to see what do they put on the table. But with that being said, Koch Reborn, right from the early start, they engaged into a kerfuffle with the players of Futurestation, Gremlin Storm, if I'm not wrong. They did manage to fend them off from the building, or rather the hospital compound. And from there onwards, they were showing signs of promise, right? They were delivering, they were getting those kills, and they were respecting the circle. A pretty standard game of PUBG Mobile by them, being very smart with the way they were approaching. They did not get themselves into very bad situation or very bad position, considering which they had those numbers for themselves in those final circle.
Yeah, exactly. And that was just happening there. But then we did see, 7C just absolutely dominate the situation as well. They had such a good dip in the map there, and all they were doing was just hold their initial position and just mow down those squads which are fighting against each other. And then, of course, if you're going to be fighting against each other, some of the other time, you're not really going to be aware of your surroundings because you're going to be focusing on the team that is going to be in front of you. And that is exactly what 7C actually capitalized on, and they just got so many frags in that initial way they actually played there. But then overall, again, A1 Esports, they were more kind of like those silent assassins in those late game situations. We didn't really see A1 Esports actually coming out or popping out in those even kill names as well. So they were more kind of like, those slithering snakes of Erangel.
Of course, A1 Esports finally making those signs of comeback. But now let's take a look at the match rankings and see for ourselves as to which teams did come out on top in this one in terms of the points earned. And there you see God's Reborn, of course, getting those 25 points. But it's the boys from Reg side. Not really big in the top 3 in terms of placement, but look at the number of kills, 11. And that brings them to the second spot.
Yeah, exactly. Now, they actually did a great job as well. Now, of course, the kill was more kind of like the kill heavy meta over here. Now, of course, in scrims, a lot of players actually focus on is going to be, of course, that kill. And this is what they actually are more kind of like thirsty for. And this is where they actually test the waters out. How are they going to be, dominating other squads? What kind of strategies they can use to overall capitalize, and just a generalized strategy they can use.
Yeah, absolutely. We did have a few glitches with the March rankings we did have earlier. I think it pretty much is being fixed as we speak of and will be on your, more screen any single moment. Right now,
Mm.
moving on with the game, we have the second match lined up for you guys. And in the second match, we have the teams from Groups B and C chiming in. So that's going to be really exciting considering a lot of teams will be coming on in that particular group, which I'm talking about is Group C over here. You've got Deadeyes coming in. You've got the likes of Flex Starford, who have been really owning the scrims so far.
Oh yeah. Exactly. STALWARTxFLEX. I really want to see this team dominate because on the day one we saw in the last game there, STALWARTxFLEX actually did such a great job. They managed to secure a compound for themselves, and then all they were doing was not camp their compound out. They were actually completely spread it out in that compound, and they were shooting from all across the side. Each and every single player was actually challenging different fights, and this is exactly what I'm saying. They were racking up those so many kills in those late game situations, and then of course in the end it was a face-off between STALWARTxFLEX and T2K, and of course STALWARTxFLEX actually came out on top. The way these guys, executed the fight against T2K, that was just an absolute beauty.
Yeah, that was certainly a delight to watch.
Yeah.
The way they were just storming their way inside the circle, getting kills after kills. We've been sort of missing out on that 20 bomb, though.
Yeah.
Teams are getting really close to it. They're getting those 15, 16, 17 kills. But, you want to see those performance from these lads. And if you talk about them, Blood Legion. This is one of the squads that has the potential. We have
Mhm.
seen that, during the regional finals, 23 and 21 kills respectively. The bombs were dropped, and
Yep.
I'm talking about some massive numbers coming out from this lad,
Mhm.
from this entire team. But they've not got their players online. Just three players coming into the lobby, not being able to do much, not even getting a single kill out in this particular game. But now let's take a look at the kill leaders, where I'm pretty sure a destroyer must be ruling the charts.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course he will be. You already guessed that perfectly there, Fixes. Destroyer with 7 kills, and then it's going to be Sketch with 4 kills, and then again Koa with 4 kills, and then Insane is going to be racking up with those 4 kills again. We are seeing a lot of 4 numbers here, and then we even saw Sketch there, overall in the previous game. Sketch was doing an absolute great job from God's Reborn side.
Yeah, he certainly did. Now
Mm.
even Kowa, the way he was performing right from in the early game, the kind of a cover fire that he was providing towards his teammate, yeah, Shiro, I believe. And then you have Sketch. Once the fight kind of subsided, we did expect to see the players of Futurestation, Gremlin Storm, trying to take
Mm.
that higher ground over there, just the southern side of the hill of the hospital compound. But there you have Sketch also coming into instant cover. So and providing that essential cover fire from behind. So yeah, he's one of those players that has been really instrumental in the victory of this particular team right now. The way Cause Reborn has been playing, they've been so immaculate with every single decisions that they've been taking. They've been so precise. They've been so smart with their approach. But this is still the first game. In the second map, it's we do have Erangel, but of course I'm expecting the zone to be taking a shift maybe somewhere else. So this is the time
Oh.
where I would love to see maybe a quarry circle, or maybe the coveted military base circle.
Well, I mean, circle discussion will be happening, but for now, I really want to focus on Destroyer over here. This man, of course, was the more dominant player in that initial previous game, and now I really want to focus on the fact that he actually 1v2'd players of T2K. And how can that be happening? He actually took down a man like, he actually took down a team like T2K. Basically, it was more kind of like a single-handed situation coming from his side, because those were the last two players standing from T2K, and they both pushed at him at the same time. And then Jane actually got punished so hard for pushing him without being so with being so cautiousless. Now, of course, if you're going to be pushing on a card like F4, you have to actually take all those precautions, all those measures. But still, Jane just got punished so bad.
Right now I'm really eager to see what's on the line. How much have the players earned for themselves in terms of leaderboard. So let's take a look at the rankings that we have got for you guys. And there you go, the overall rankings coming out. F4 Esports getting that first spot being taken away. But considering the fact that they've played one extra game in
Mhm.
terms of where StalWartxFLEX are. Now, for StalWartxFLEX to kind of continue that first spot that they had gotten for themselves yesterday, they need to get at least 11 points in this particular particular game, or even
Yeah.
if they kind of tie it up, then also they are going to move on to the top spot, considering they have more number of kills as compared to the other teams over here.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be happening. But I really feel like there might be a little bit of rivalry building up in these top three teams. Of course, F4 having most of the points because they have played the first game, they're going to be having those 90 points. Then Train to Kill again with 80 points. Now, again, if Train to Kill is going to be playing that third map and they are going to be getting this, again, overall a real good performance in that as well, the Train to Kill will be moving up on the leaderboards. And now F4 and STALWARTxFLEX are certainly not going to let Train to Kill, have that spot that easily. So they will actually be on a on a grind to actually get that one or second position as well. But then some of the big teams, for example, DRS on a real back end position, on 11th position, and we do not expect if a team like DRS to actually be on the 11th position there.
We certainly do not. We certainly do not, because right now, this is a team, that had been really consistent in terms of how they were playing. But taking an early exit today did not really pan out in their favor. So I think second game is where they are going to make a comeback in. But if you're talking about the other teams, look at Venom Legends again, a very disappointing
Oh.
start. Struggling with just merely 23 points, and they've been getting those
Mhm.
kills. But I think all these teams really need to work it out in terms of their positioning, in terms of how they get those placement points going in for themselves.
Well, I mean, exactly. We saw in the PMCOs as well as LoG1 was having, that circle favoring them. But this time it doesn't really seem like that's going to be happening in Scrims because LoG1 are getting compromised so early on. So they are just not getting the chance to actually speculate the circle. So, I mean, those zone predictions are not going to be favoring them. You will have to overall improve your combat skills as well because LoG1 is more kind of like a squad who actually doesn't like to challenge the fights, and we have seen that in the past as well. And when they were getting pushed by the squad like 7C, they were actually so scared and they were hiding inside a single house, and that is exactly what shows the confidence of overall a team like LoG1. They need to up their confidence.
They certainly have to, because the kind of
Yeah.
approach that they're putting forth is not working out. During the PMCOs, we did see, everywhere they just predicted the circle. They went into the right pinpoint area right from the first day of the regional finals. They were in the race, and up until the point, they've of course qualified. And we did see the players kind of trying to go aggressive, and they did succeed on multiple occasions. But that is not going to work out. That kind of a mindset is not going to work out for LoG1 when once the real league starts, because these are the
Mhm.
scrims, and they're kind of hesitating to take those important fights. So they really need to open up their wings, just try to flutter around, watch out for yourself, try to get a few kills here and there, because that is what the other teams are doing. And we're getting to see those 15, 16 kills game. That's not a small number. You get wiping down 2, 3 squads, that's a really good thing. You're also getting those chicken dinners, so you're getting 30 points if you get 15 kills in that one game. So that is going to be really crucial. We've got to see how the other players, in fact, just show up, and how they are going to play this one out.
Well, I mean, the other players are definitely going to be more kind of like the initial factor because there are so many, players that are not really able to wake up. They are not really able to find their perfect form, and they will certainly have to, because now these are scrims, of course. Now we see each and every single team on that aggressive groove, and this is exactly why LoG1 aren't really able to pan things out in their favor, because they are not being aggressive, and especially they are not used to face off aggressive squads. And when squads are going to be aggressive, then LoG1 will surely be falling down because they are more kind of like a peaceful squad. They don't really like to fight much, but in those late game situations they actually are quite brilliant when it comes to positioning themselves. And we have seen in the past as well that one last man standing from LoG1 will actually be securing that top 3 position for them.
Yeah, they certainly will, and anything is possible. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading for a short little break, because coming right after is the second game of Erangel. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims brought to you by R3G Gaming as we are already online with the second game of the evening with the flight path trajectory heading all the way from Stalwart towards Primorsk as we can see all these teams in various different colors taking their plunge. And well, Necro, what do you think? Considering how the flight path has been, where is the circle gonna be out on this one?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I really feel like this might be a mansion and prison circle. Just overall, it's just a prediction, of course, but even the plain fly path is actually making me quite suspicious for a circle like that. But again, now, of course, a team that we really want to watch out for is going to be Skylight Gaming over here. Now, High Voltage, of course, coming in with that, a little bit of group changes as well, and that is going to be happening where High Voltage we saw yesterday, they were doing a real great job in surviving in those late game situations, but still weren't really able to show up that much because maybe something was happening. Maybe there were maybe their new roster changes aren't really working out, but maybe High Voltage will do something this time. But no, it's going to be a complete opposite circle of the guess that I made, and it seems like this is going to be the same circle that was in the previous time.
Right now, Necro, I kind of like it. I kind of like it because it's kind of a bit, tending to go around the western side. So it's been quite
Mhm.
some time. We haven't really witnessed those western shoreline circles. So if it really goes around that area, then I'm gonna
Mhm.
love it. But taking a look at the boys from Team F4, the way they played in the last game,
Yeah.
and it's a shame that they could not have another man in. You would of course want
Yeah.
to be bolstering up your lead considering it's your final game of the evening and you're going against
Mhm.
teams like STALWARTxFLEX who are actually eyeing out for the top spot and already being handicapped right from the start. That's not where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they are just down to those three initial members, and those last four member wasn't really able to join in. We don't really know what exactly was the issue there, but now they are just down to a three-man squad. Now, taking a look at High Voltage Aussie, seems like he's having a great time just staring at the ground. Maybe he's just wondering those textures, fixes. He's just having a great time, overall analyzing the textures, how the textures look. But then overall, again, now coming back to F4, of course, now those positioning is going to be more kind of like the main factor, as you did say. A lot of like a team like Train to Kill and even STALWARTxFLEX are trying to contest that first spot. And if you're going to be already having a disadvantage going inside the first game, going inside the second game, then that is going to be a little disappointing for all the F4 fans, which is going to be almost the entire region of Pakistan. We like the entire region of Pakistan is a massive fan of F4, and if F4 is going to be having a massive disadvantage going inside over here, then that is going to be a little mind-boggling for the fans.
Yeah, that certainly will be because considering this is one of the teams that is of course backed by that huge support from the Pakistan region, and they
Mm-hmm.
deserve it. They deserve it. The way they've been playing, the way they did play in the PMCOs, it's worth it. But now
Mm-hmm.
moving along, we also do have the boys from Team High Voltage, and we know that this is a squad that has the potential to actually go big, even as so far as to winning the PMPL this time, considering the kind of players that they've got, and already having Extreme as a new addition in their roster is further bolstering up their squad. But now
Yeah.
you've got the likes, of Otzi and Assassin, these two
Mm-hmm.
players in which I really believe. I know, once they start rolling, there is hardly any way you can stop these two mean machines.
Well, I mean, we have seen them in the past just absolutely mow down a lot of ground. But certainly, Extreme again, a recent addition from Giant Mara. He was the IGL of Giant Mara in the back times there, and certainly Giant Mara wasn't really able to qualify, so he actually joined High Voltage instantly. A good roster change coming in, of course. But now Extreme, maybe Extreme will do a real great job in overall getting familiar with the entire squad of High Voltage because now, Extreme, of course, he has that caliber. He is a real great player. All he needs to do is actually get used to the way High Voltage plays, and when he does know, when he actually figures out each and every single thing of how High Voltage works and the way these guys pan out their strategy, then I really feel like Extreme might be the person to actually take High Voltage to a massive success.
You know. talking about getting success, teamwork, a lot of practice, a lot of
Yeah.
dedication is really important. And I think that is what a team like INES has also shown, right?
Hmm.
Considering how they've been playing, the roster shuffles that they've gone through, the new players coming in. I mean, I was really impressed with Kajor. The first day he really came in, getting those beautiful kills, getting the fight right into the faces of teams like Blood Legion. I still remember that
Hmm.
Erangel game when they completely outplayed them, and they've got a lot of players. They did have the likes of Orochi and Yashiro last time during the PMPL, but by the
Hmm.
looks of it, they have taken their own separate ways. They are also a part of the PMPL this time around. So yeah, I mean, this is really interesting. This is really exciting to see how these teams really perform out. But
Yeah.
INES going to their very lovable drop location so as to peak, and they've been going here since ages, this particular roster, to the
Hmm.
containers. There was a time when containers used to be a highly densely equipped area where you had those big amount of loots, in terms of those scopes, in terms of those weapons. You had everything. But then we did see a nerf in that area, and we haven't really been watching these teams in fact contest for that spot. They just let go of Georgia Paul containers. But here we have the players of Deadeyes taking a glimpse at what's right in front of them, and that's gonna be the boys from Carnage.
Yeah, exactly. But again, focusing on to the squad of INES, of course, they're not really able to, show up that great in the scrims. But again, now they have another real good player in their lineup, which is going to be Newty. Now, of course, Newty, we have seen this man in the past and even in the PMCOs, in the regional finals. This man was doing so great in the overall squad roster because he is there in the back lines all the time to provide that essential cover. And sometimes, even if he needs to play the front lines, he's not going to be backing up because he's more kind of like that all-rounder role inside the squad, and he actually plays it to perfection. And that is exactly what Newty thrives for. So certainly that is going to be more kind of like a person that a lot of teams need to eye out for, because ideals are not really able to, overall find their groove. They're not really able to find their form. But once they do, then we all do know what they're capable of doing. And certainly, as you did mention, that they are going to that lovable spot of Georgia pool containers all the time. But I mean, certainly, in those bigger stages, when you're just going to be, that capitalizable, you're going to be using those same strategies over and over again. Then that might be actually giving away your initial team strats as well, because then you might get compromised, and then it's just going to be so much more easy for those other squads to actually read you out easily.
I mean, yeah, that's to be honest, right on the point, 100%. You're going to that
Hmm.
drop location. Your enemies are wary about that, so they're gonna have those
Hmm.
strategies to try to tackle you out. A few changes here
Yeah.
and there might just make the difference. But moving further, we have got the boys from Carnage. I think their sort of misery is continuing with the way they've been performing lately. To be honest, they've been getting those kills here and there, but the position points. We've been, talking like broken records about this, and even they do understand that they do have
Yeah.
a fallacy in their play style. So they certainly have to change it right now. Maybe
Yeah.
try to avoid a few fights, try to make it to the final circle, and then maybe get those skills. I think that is exactly what they need. But look
Yeah.
at the players of Deadeyes already, trying to surround or engulf the players of Log1 like an amoeba.
Exactly, and they already have their eyes set on the entire squad of Log1. Look at this, a beautiful split coming from these lads. And of course, we have seen these guys overall challenge the fights. There are two players on that flank angle, and take a look at Hungry Box and On Top. They both are on that front angle, of course. And now these guys are doing a real good job overall, compromising the entire squad of Log1. And of course, Log1 and these squads that we have seen, struggle off in those initial early game fights. And I really feel like this might be again where if Log1 is not really going to be stepping their gameplay up this time, then it might be the downfall of Log1. But take a look at the airdrop. It's going to be the first airdrop of the game, and it's going to be M249 on the ground. Which player is going to be taking that, of course, is going to be getting a lot of advantage in his favor, but it's out in the middle of the field. And of course, if you're going to be going for that, then that is going to be an invitation for a lot of gunshots over your way.
Absolutely. You've got to be really careful in terms of
Mhm.
how you position yourself in those kind of situations. To be honest, if you
Yep.
tend to be out in the open and you are completely focused on that one direction and you are sort of not aware about your surroundings, you of course are going to be punished. What else? And as being said, as being talked about, first
Oh,
airdrop coming in. And we do have the lawnmower, as you love to call it, but you have we do see the players over here, log ones, Fuad, already spotting out the players of Deadeyes. In fact, Suyog being spotted out in the far off race. So it's going to be
yep.
really interesting as to how log one, considering the fact that now they have the information that there is a
Yeah.
squad that is prying on them, as to how they respond to this threat.
No, but the thing is, like, it doesn't really matter. Even if you have even if you have the info that you are getting compromised or your position has been compromised, look at the overall position that Deadeyes have on them. They have surrounded Log1 from all the angles, and that is going to be giving Deadeyes such a massive advantage initially inside the fight. But seems like NFP are going to be struggling early off as Kira has fallen down, but the raise will be coming in from Halsey, and that is going to be a massive medic move from Halsey there. That's going to be a massive support factor going inside for them team. And NFP certainly are looking comfortable in their initial overall situation. But the fight still continues between Deadeyes and Log1. But certainly Deadeyes need to be a little more cautious as there are so many teams moving inside the circle and your position might get compromised as well because you are out in the middle of the field. And of course, if you get compromised from those backlines, then Deadeyes might be in a massive water trouble because Log1 has an entire compound, entire city for themselves. And they might be looking real good because they are covered from all over the angles and they won't really be struggling in those initial fights when they actually might get compromised from those flank angles.
Absolutely. Log one, they just need to watch out. Right now,
Yeah.
they do not really have to worry much because they still have the blessings of the circle. But considering how the circle is panning out, I mean, this is kind of a repetition of what happened in the first game, rather,
Mhm.
with high voltage. This time being the new addition to this entire map over here because they're from Group C. So they do have the
Mhm.
center. We've got to see as to how they play this
Oh.
one out. But look at Magnet, peppering down those few bullets with his DP28 as his teammates sort of want to go in with the push. You do see Sharp X making that aggressive maneuver over there onto his players,
Oh.
and Magnus, oh my goodness, Oreo, he's in a whole world of trouble already, just dropping out from his vehicle, but sort of kind of survives the onslaught that has been dealt upon by the players over there of 952. But as we can see, Lock One have successfully managed to fend off a few players of Deadeyes here and there as they are
Mhm.
making their own move inside the circle.
Well, exactly. Deadeye is finally going to be making a move inside the circle, as that is going to be more kind of like a good and a brilliant decision. Of course, if you're just going to be eyeing out on that one little squad, then that is going to be happening. But for now, I'm going to hold on to my word as Crypto from STALWARTxFLEX is already starting his domination spree. And seems like MGS are in a massive water trouble as their players are falling down one by one. And of course, it's going to be STALWARTxFLEX to make things so much more difficult for MGS. Their Magnus, of course, are not going to be on that front foot as already losing out on two of their players. It's going to be a deal going down. And now it's going to be Johnny and Crypto putting in so much lead on their direction. And of course, they will have to back out because we do know what Stalwart is capable of, and they can actually wipe out your entire existence, even if you give them a little room to work around.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those teams that I'm really eyeing out and rooting for because,
Yeah.
the way they have been working out, grinding relentlessly day and night has paid off. We've been now watching them right from the last PMCO when they were a team called Oxy, and as a result of their spectacular performance, they did come under the roster and have been finally signed by Stalwart's Flex, as a result of which they will be participating in the PMPL. And I mean, this is one of those teams that has got the players, that has got the dedication, the commitment to go big. But that being said, they've already got 3 kills to their belt, and they're hungry for more. They're kind of having that edgy approach because they know that if they kind of go in for the center contestation, it's going to be basically digging their own graves over there because they are wary of the fact that a lot of teams have already taken those center compounds that exist inside this Gatka circle.
And yep, it does seem like Skylight Gaming are going to be taking a step forward as Joker is going to be opening things out, and he did manage to secure a knock onto the players of NFP, but even DRS is in the nearby vicinity, and they really want those free kills going their way as well. But just take a look at this entire area. There is so much more open ground, and even there's a squad of high voltage NFP, DRS on those nearby phrases. And of course, if you make a single mistake to actually step outside of your cover, then that might be the end of your case, because there are so many squads compromising on those edges. Look at this, and now DRS seems like they are on a move as well. Now Galzan, of course, taking the initial step to actually make the move, and then his teammates will be following them up, as it's going to be Nima again. But now I am really so scared for DRS. Exactly what I was saying, and this is exactly the same thing happening. Galzan going down because this position is just so exposed from so many angles, and they don't really have a lot of cover to work around.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you are caught up in situations like this, you need to get those smokes being deployed, and you need to reposition, get the hell out of there, and try to get into cover, try to get inside the zone, because they still have
Yep.
to make that movement. They've got a few vehicles around which they can work with, but at the same time, you've got a team like Skylight Gaming in front of you, so you have to be very wary and very cautious with every single step that you keep. And Kashar, however, getting a beautiful knock over there with the bolt action. So we're getting to see a lot of players, really going into the bolt action. But, these are just the scrims. I do not know once the real league starts, are they going to be doing that? Are they going to be taking those risky plays into their favor? Or they're going to stick to the good old, DMRs like mini 14s or SLRs or SKS. But here we have Evil Eye getting a beautiful knock onto its Leon as he was trying to, just reverse around the map. As, even Joker did get caught off by the players of High Voltage.
Oh, look at this. Kira has a real good position. He's going to be taking out a man, but of course he's going to get compromised instantly because he exposed his body for way much more longer. It's going to be Nima suffering the cause, and DRS losing out on a player like Nima. AJ almost getting compromised as well. It's going to be two-player from NFP, but AJ did manage to get that one initial knockdown, as Sky Ash is going to be down to such low HP as well. He is going to be healing himself, as the other members of DRS are going to be aggressing him through. Mr. Boro, he's going to be aggressing him through, and of course it's going to be Ash maybe falling down, and that's going to be it. DRS wiping out the entire existence of NFP, and that is a underdog Pakistan team going down right there.
Oh, that's a shame. They did put their hearts in, but they did manage to, deal some casualties to the players of DRS. Considering how the fight really started, I really felt that the boys of NFP could have, turned the tides in their favor. But considering how DRS are making their move in, looking a bit lost over here. They've been spotted out, and here we have the fight breaking down between the players of Team LoG1 and Deadeyes, as On Top is the last man surviving from his squad, going in to get those important revives onto his teammates, and he certainly will get it faster than the players of LoG1. But at the same time, you have to consider this fact that the circle has started to close in. So either it's kind of a do or die situation. They've got to take the fight, or they need to back off. They have to make those choices quick, because Suyo, from what I see, is already a lost cause.
Yeah, exactly. These are the exact mirror things happening. Now Blank is going to be moving forward, and of course he is going to get caught off guard, and that's going to be Hungry Box putting an end to his misery. And of course Blank is not really going to be so satisfied after the way he actually went down. He should have expected someone to be behind that a little bit of rack over there, but still Hungry Box coming out on top, and that is going to be a massive sigh of relief for Deadeyes there. And now Deadeyes were in a massive water trouble, but still now they are looking quite comfortable, as On Top is going to be using the VSS, of course, and we do know VSS is the weapon for silent assassins.
And quite after a long time are we getting to witness this weapon. You've got peas shooting out from this gun, not bullets, to be honest. You barely get to hear the shots, and like you perfectly described, right? It's a weapon that assassins prefer. You do not see where the shots are coming in, and certainly helps you in those final circles. And On Top, he did have the VSS, but not really the kind of an approach that you want with this weapon. He is right out in the open, completely caught off guard, as R3D, they have lobbed up a beautiful grenade. If that connects, they are a dead squad right over there.
Yeah, exactly. And this might be the game of R3D. Look at that overall high ground they have on the squad of TUF and even Deadeyes. As Deadeyes are in a massive water trouble, they are going to be smoking their position off. But Hungry Box and his teammate has already went down, and it's going to be the last man surviving for them. And that nade is going to be enough to close things out for Deadeyes, and a big elimination happening from TUF. Well played, a well accuracy nade coming in from TUF. They're well played over there. And now seems like TUF are again in a massive water trouble as they have lost two of their players, and it's going to be R3D making things much more tougher for them.
Yeah, I mean R3D, they've been playing so well, considering how they've got that high ground advantage for themselves. But as we speak on, the circle is similar to what we did witness in the last game. Just a bit left and right here and there. But Walker will of course get the confirmation onto his players of 1952 over here. Team
Yep.
TUF, they have not really rose up to their occasion, considering the kind of a squad they are. So I really expected bigger things from them, and they've been almost in the bottom echelon of the table. But now, R3D, they certainly have managed to spot out the players of Futurestation. It's just a matter of moments before which they start taking the shots. Considering how the circle has panned out, it is certainly a position which gives you a lot of advantage. But look at Walker,
Oh,
that sheer precision with his M4 getting that beautiful knock
yep.
onto its new. But here we have Dante all the way from Bangladesh getting a beautiful knock, opening things up onto its crypto.
Yep, that's a live demonstration of accuracy that Dante has, and that's going to be enough to actually take down one of the players from STALWARTxFLEX. It's going to be Crypto, and that nade is going to be also destroying things for UZM, and now it's just going to be that last man surviving from STALWARTxFLEX. It's going to be Johnny barely surviving. He has his head down, hidden inside the grass, but for how long? It's going to be the question, because R3D are the king of the hills. They have the highest ground position for themselves, but certainly they are still in massive water trouble as their casualty has been going down for their favor as well. Now R3D are going to be getting that revive back onto their member, but still they are the king of the hills. They have the highest ground possible inside the entire late game situation. And take a look at the circle. It's going to be favoring the latch from R3D. This might be their game.
This certainly can be, but look at Ines. I mean, I really thought that Gashore might just be, trying to flat out the vehicles over there for the players of Futurestation and kind of completely immobilize their movement. But that is not the case over here.
Yep.
We've got the players of High Voltage already pushing onto its Ines, and Gashore taking a few shots, and they have already, did sit down inside their vehicle, and they're making a move to get in. But with the way Cooney has been playing around, just lobbing that grenade into thin air, is it going to connect? That's a big question over there. Had the door been broken, or had he had a molly, he could have certainly, tried to penetrate inside and maybe, catch the players of INES and surprise. So no, that was not the case over here. But High Voltage, they're still making the move. You've got Cooney already closing in, charging in over there as Badriff gets a beautiful, beautiful grenade, and TUF also responding in fashion. So a lot of nade barrages happening out left, right, and center as we just have 5 teams and 16 players remaining in the lobby.
Well, exactly. There are so many teams over here, and as well, a lot of the teams actually have all 4 of their players alive, and this is going to be an absolute bloodbath as the circle is going to be shrinking down to its slowest. And now it seems like Cooney is still going to be throwing down so many nades. Those nades are more kind of like the control nades because High Voltage needed to move inside the circle, and those nades are going to be doing the job to actually force INES on that front foot, as well as INES are going to be doing the same thing. They are going to be making their way inside the circle, and Cooney is going to be the slithering snake off the Erangel this time. He is going to be just proning down on the ground, trying his best to actually make his way inside the circle. But INES, ironic, it's certainly not going to be scared of anyone, as he's going to be taking the vehicle to make the rotation inside the circle, and that might be compromising his position. And of course, that will be happening as Cooney has spotted Ironic down, and then Salu as well. But Salu is going to be lucky to actually Cooney actually ran out of bullets in his magazine, and then Salu just got so lucky in that initial phases over there.
I mean, the way this fight really went off, Cooney could have done better in terms of how he had positioned himself in that particular skirmish, okay? So
Yeah.
right now, considering how the circle has panned off, we've got 4 teams, everyone in their own particular direction, everyone playing or contesting the edges, so as to speak. So it comes down to who's going to get the better of the circle in the 7th zone. So the
Yep.
team having the circle has a high probable chance of winning this one out. But they're all a four-man squad, except of course for Team High Voltage, where Cooney, we're gonna see him online right in a few seconds. But the zone, it's doing so much damage. But look
Yep.
at Salu getting that beautiful knock onto its virus, opening things up. But like I was telling you, there's one squad that will have the advantage, and in this particular case, that's gonna be Team R3D.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they are the king of the hill, as I was mentioning, and even the zone is going to be favoring them, and they have the entire zone control for themselves. If any of those squads actually try to make their way inside, it's going to be R3D punishing them from the top lines as well. But for now, the fight between High Voltage and INES is actually growing up, as it's going to be INES losing out on 200 players, and then third players barely surviving as well, and it's going to be Kuni to actually throw down that lead onto the players of INES, and of course that's going to be doing up so much damage. That little gap is enough for Kuni to actually capitalize things onto INES, but Kuni seems like he's not going to be scared of anyone, as he's just going to be running out in the middle of the field, as Extreme has been taken down, and that's going to be a massive casualty for High Voltage, as things are just going to be down to that one last man surviving for them. Now Dante, of course, in those long ranges, throwing down so much dead leads, and now High Voltage seems like they are going to be spotting initial member of Venom Esports. It's going to be N3 Boy, but still, N3 Boy is going to be in a quite comfortable situation. R3D, you need to take a look at your left side, because there is the squad of Venom Esports completely crawling up on you guys, and that nade is just so good.
Yeah, that was a massive, massive nade, completely opening up the squad of R3D. However, they are kind of oblivious about the positioning of Sinister, but R3D, they still have the numbers to work around with. But High Voltage is Coney. He's a cold-blooded murderer, and I believe 6ix9ine has spotted him down. But look at Virus. He takes down Sinister in the process, and it all comes down to Jax. But look at Coney. He's continuing his onslaught. He's continuing the murder that he is instilling inside the lobby. Now it has come down to this 1v1 situation. Cooney or Jax, who is it gonna be? And Jax completely spraying down, has managed to spot down Cooney, and certainly A1 walking off with that beautiful, beautiful chicken dinner with 10 beautiful kills.
That was R3D's game. How did they manage to screw it up? They were not looking. They were not looking at all their angles. And then, of course, it was A1 Esports to actually punish them for not checking their flank angle. And A1 Esports was racking up slowly behind those back lines. And then A1 Esports actually did manage to capitalize and make things so much more tougher for R3D. And High Voltage, again, doing an absolute fantastic job in being consistent and actually managing to secure that second spot. Now, High Voltage, I really feel like they have a deal to make over here, Fixes.
They certainly do. I mean, right now, High Voltage, like I said, they're synonymous with consistency. This is a squad, that you tend to see them in every single circle. But the way Cooney played, my oh my, I was really shocked. I mean, how on earth did no one spot him? I think R3D could have really been careful with the fights that they were taking, because Cooney, he was making a lot of noise, and he did not really play like assassin, trying to sneak up. He was right on their face of their enemies, spotting down every single player, dishing out so much damage here, left, right, and center. And even at a singles point, we did see the players, in fact, of A1. I think it was Jax in the end who was taking those shots, or was it Sinister, who was taking those shots onto its Cooney, and Cooney was actually responding and retaliating back. But R3D did third party them and did take down the players of A1. But at the same time, this is where the question arises: how could you not hear him? You've got 4 players, for Christ's sake, and they could have easily dealt with Cooney first, and the remainder of the players of A1 Esports were already done over there. And that kind of a fight towards the end was certainly uncalled for. And R3D sort of threw this game out, but huge props to the boys from A1 being relentless with their approach, and of course, having the final peak, the first peak onto its Cody, and they did not really have any trouble into getting that final nail in the coffin and securing the dinner for themselves.
Well, I mean, overall, they did an absolute fantastic job if we talk about it, Fixes. Now, R3, we still got to give them a little bit of props, for actually positioning themselves on top of that, overall mountain. And that was still a brilliant positioning coming in from these lads. But certainly, they weren't really able to, actually spot out the players of A1 Esports. And this is where the map awareness comes into play. And certainly, they weren't really aware of their flank angles. And this is what A1 Esports actually capitalized onto that. And then they just started mowing down those players of R3D with those nades. The initial nade was just so good, lined up, just so well lined up from the players of Venom Esports, and that was the one to actually open things out for them.
Yeah, I mean those nades were ludicrous. The way they were thrown up, and we did see a lot of nades happening here, left, right, and center today. I think we did see the players of Futurestation kind of getting those few Gwen knocks, but not being able to convert them into kills. But now let's take a look at the match rankings and see and find for ourselves as to how the teams have performed in game number 11 of the map of Erangel.
Well, exactly. I mean, of course, A1 Esports on the top. We did see them put on an absolute dominating performance. But then again, High Voltage on the second position. As I did mention, these guys are being so consistent since those initial maps of Sandhawk were being played from these lads. And then again, R3D showing a beautiful performance in those overall placement points again, and then overall positioning inside the map. But still lacking somewhere down line in those awareness and in those overall team coordination, as I would like to say. But then Team TUF again standing bold and strong. And then Ineos again. Ineos did actually manage to secure themselves the fifth spot. But is that going to be enough? That's going to be the massive question, because that is certainly not going to be enough to actually rack yourself on those overall leaderboards.
You know, right now, even Skylight Gaming have sort of been silent, to be
Yep,
honest.
yep, yep.
And this was also one of those games in which they did not do anything at all. Being the first team to get eliminated, they've got the likes of players who've represented the global championship. And, it's not a joke. It is
Yep.
certainly not a joke. The winners of the PMPLs, and they've done so much, but they're certainly looking bleak, to be
Yep.
honest. And,
Yep.
you know, uh, this is where they need to step up, because this is one of their stronger maps. They certainly could have done better. As the same storyline continues for F4 Esports, one game, one good game. The second game, they sort of mess it up. And now I really want to see in the overall standings. They still, I believe, have the lead, but. But the players of STALWARTxFLEX still have that extra one game advantage, because they're yet to play one more game of Wrangle, and anything can possibly happen. But Carnage, they've been completing their two games that they had for themselves, and again, disappointment.
Well, I mean, we don't really, it's more kind of like I want to give them like a moment of silence, because they are trying. We all do know they are trying their best again. But now next game, this is where Blood Legions again rolls in, and now we need to expect them to actually play real good as well, because for now,
Yeah.
because F4 did get eliminated off in those early phases, and we had a lot of expectations going in for F4. Of course, the first map they played it out real well and real safe, but in the second map they weren't really able to show up. But then again, in the third map, it's going to be STALWARTxFLEX again getting the second chance to dominate, and then it's going to be Blood Legions coming back again. Now this might be a real good fight we want to witness between Blood Legions and STALWARTxFLEX, because this might be entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those fights that we absolutely love. But Blunt Legion did not, start their game with flying colors in the first map. So, of course, in the last game of Erangel, which we will have, which will be online in a few more couple of moments. So, that is going to be really important to see as to how they perform. But right now, let's take a look at the kill leaders, the lawnmowers, as we call them. The bloodshedders, the ones who committed a lot of felony over here.
Mhm.
And you've got Dante, of course, ruling the charts, and it's A1 Esports, bagging the chicken dinner for themselves. But this is where Cooney comes in on the second spot, and well, high voltage. I've got that perfect balance,
Yeah.
between the way they kind of play the zone out, and in terms of their kill potentials.
Yeah, exactly. And Dante, as we did mention, he was doing such a great job in the initial overall team supporting. Now, Dante, we did see this man, he was playing more kind of like the snake. He was playing on those prone grass, and he was actually still managing to take out so many kills the way he was playing. And the exact kill leader is going to be the live demonstration of how Dante played. He actually took down one player with the way he actually was spraying with the M4 and 4X, and then the other, he actually lined the nade up, and he got those two kills without doing anything. Now, this is the
Yeah.
exact same thing I'm saying. Now, all he needed to do was just find out the initial positions that his enemy team is inside, and then he did that perfectly. He lined up the nade first, and then he sprayed down the guy, and then as he sprayed down the guy, the second kill happened at the same time. That was just an absolute, mirror kills happening.
I mean, this match was chaotic, but at the same time, Avis basically the same wine served in a new bottle, because the way the zone really panned out. But I would really expect more in terms of how the circle really forms in the next game. But before that, we've got to take a look at the overall rankings to check out the current storyline that we have been building up for ourselves. And so let's take a look at the overall rankings as it comes in front of our screens. 91 points is where FO Esports are going to solidify their position. But look at teams like STALWARTxFLEX. Look at
Mhm.
teams like Train to Kill. They've been making a huge comeback. But Futurestation, we've been scoffing about them, but they've sort of been consistent. They've sort of been racking up those kills. I would expect to see this team, by the end of today's evening. Maybe. No, they've done with the matches. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the
Mhm.
next time we come out with the scrims. So maybe try to take that third spot. But for now, I think StalWartxFLEX have a really good chance at maintaining that top spot that they had garnered for themselves since yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was. I mean, overall, Star Reflex, we do know that they have a real good, overall opening for them. And then now you were talking about Future Station as well. As Future Station are done with their game, you did mention in the past, and now again there might be a little collision over here because now, of course, Star Reflex has moved himself up on the second position as F4 wasn't really able to show up because they were, kind of unfortunate in those overall, men advantage of number because they only had 3 players going inside for their squad. And now, of course, if you're going to be going up against a squad with all 4 members, then that's going to be a massive, disadvantage factor that your team is going to be facing up against.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be careful. But
Yeah.
as we move on down below, LoG1, Venom Legends, Freestyle, Inertia, Skylight Gaming. I mean, this is not acceptable considering the names that you've got in the roster. You would want to expect bigger things from them. I know
Yep.
how explosive Chari can get once he starts rolling, once he finds his rhythm, once he gets into the groove. But today, or even those days before, were certainly not his. But maybe in the PMPL, maybe they're kind of trying to hide a few strats here and there. But I would like to get our viewers' attention towards Carnage Esports. They're sitting on the 17th spot. They've managed to get 30 kills and just 6 position points. I
Yep.
mean,
Well, I mean, again, as you did mention, Carnage, being not
yeah,
really their initial way they actually play the games as well, and we do expect a lot much more things from Carnage as well. Now, certainly, next game is going to be Blood Legions, where these guys are going to be in as
yeah.
well, and we do expect a lot of things from them. Now, Blood Legions may or may not perform well in this overall upcoming games, but I still do believe in the squad like Blood Legion. And then again, as I did mention, it's going to be StalWartxFLEX joining in the entire rally again in the upcoming next game. So that might be interesting as well.
Yeah, I mean, yes. So this is where teams from groups A and C will go against each other. Teams from Group A were sitting this one out, and they were watching from the sidelines.
Yep.
But what I would really want to be different this time is the zone. Because to be honest,
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
something happening elsewhere. I mean, we've had the exact, almost exact, the same
Yeah.
circle in the second game as well. I mean, it's completely random. So nothing scoffing about that. But yeah, I think what could really make me happy right now is maybe a Milta circle, maybe somewhere towards the extreme eastern areas, or maybe towards the southeastern areas, if not the military base.
Well, I
I've
mean,
got
to
my
be
hands
honest,
raised up.
I really want that military-based circle, because you do know how much I love that. And when I actually do get that military-based circle, then I would literally start jumping like a little kid. Like I just want to see that circle. It's been such a long time. My eyes are actually so thirsty. I want to see that circle come into play. And certainly, if a team like StalWartxFLEX is going to be in there, then how are they going to be positioning themselves? Isn't that a thing that you wonder? Isn't that a thing that you actually want to see happening inside? Because StalWartxFLEX is initially known for their overall performance in those positioning. And now, of course, if it's going to be StalWartxFLEX put into that uncomfortable spot, then how are they going to be panning things out in their favor? Because that is just a thing that I am thinking in my mind. I'm thinking in my mind, and all the time when I think about it, I just get so excited.
I mean, Necro, to be honest, you so beautiful describe. how good of a sadist you are. You love to watch people in pain, right? I mean, military base, we know the bloodshed happening right off the bat. I mean, you live for moments like that.
Yep.
And yeah, so do I. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally on with the final game of the evening,
Yep.
as we do see sort of a similar flight path this time. However, going up a bit towards the north, all the way from the hospital compound towards Kameshki. So I'm really curious as to see where the circle is going to pan out. You've got teams like P and Crew. They've sort of been silent.
Mm.
They've been getting those kills. They've been getting those frags, but nothing apart from that. Now, NFPxSky. So this is one of those teams that has taken a plunge towards the southwestern side,
Yep.
and this is quite a iconic drop location. We've seen
Yep.
quite a lot of famous teams, trying to execute that. But look at the traffic around the Giorgio area. Look at the
Oh my
traffic
God, I'm
around the
actually so
northeastern
blessed.
circle.
I'm actually so
Yeah.
blessed. Now, of course, that military base circle is over here, Fixes, and it seems like the devs have listened to my initial wish. And I exactly did say that I am literally going to be dancing like a little kid when I see this, and I'm just so
I
fascinated
mean, we need a
to witness
webcam on
this.
you right now. We need our producer to
No,
switch
no,
it.
no, no,
I
no,
want to
no,
see the
no,
dance.
no, no,
Nothing's
no,
really happening
no,
right now. I
that's-
am sure the chat wants to see you dance right now.
Well, let's not focus on to that. All right, let's just focus on to the game, as we are going to be focusing on the PN Crew over here. Seems like they are going to be using their initial drop location, and overall, we were talking about now being predictable. And if PN Crew are going to be using their initial drop locations, even in those bigger stages, then that might be a little troublesome, because some teams might be making those strategies to tackle them down easily.
Yeah, now this is going to be so much more a difficult task for the boys from P and Crew. The way they've been playing, but
Oh.
Necro. I mean,
Oh no! Are you
so
serious?
ladies and gentlemen, we have a small announcement for you. This match is going to be rehosted, and just as you were dancing, just when we did get to witness that glimmer, that sparkle in your eyes and your voice, we got the upper calling, and seems like the match needs to be rehosted, and which means one thing: it's going to be a different circle.
To be honest, I don't even want to talk anymore. I am so upset. I am so upset. Finally, I get to see that circle that I actually wanted to see, and then we just get the call that the game is going to be restarting again, and that is so unfortunate. Like, I cannot describe my feelings right now. How I'm feeling in my inner soul. Like, I'm actually so hurt.
I mean, come on. It's all right. It's all right. It's still just scrims.
I'm gonna man up.
Money is on the line. I know. I can feel the intensity. I can feel the disappointment over there. And I mean, a lot of viewers, of course, do agree with the fact. Every single time you get that military base circle, you get that spark inside of you
Yep.
as to what are you going to witness. It's like a surprise meal box right in front of your screens, and I mean, you're gonna want to get it, and you do not know what's inside. Maybe that's a bridge fight. Maybe that's some shoreline fights that we have. Maybe there's a team on towards the higher shows. But every single thing is going to be answered, ladies and gentlemen, for you guys. But before that, we are going to be heading out for a short little break. We'll be right back. You don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims 2021, brought to you by R3G Gaming as we finally head along to our final flight path trajectory and to its final game of the evening, where the plane is heading all the way from Lipovka to its Shajapal. And well, Necro, you already sound disappointed, but. Do you believe that you might get a certain circle again?
Well,
Maybe.
to be honest, I'm a believer, and you do know that. I believe all the time, so I'm gonna be believing this time again, and I'm gonna say this is gonna be military-based circle because the last time we saw almost a same fly path, but just from the other direction. So, maybe we might be able to see that military-based circle again, and I really hope so. My fingers are crossed. I want to see that military base again. Please, please, PUBG devs, give me that circle. PUBG gods bless me.
I mean, we have got to wait and watch as to what is really coming
Come
in for
on,
us.
come on.
I'm not gonna speak anything. Just
Come
gonna
on.
let it sim. Oh,
No! Well,
okay,
I mean, it's a
but
good circle. It's a good circle. Let's be
yeah,
honest. Yeah, it is. It's a pretty good
it,
circle.
it certainly is.
Yeah.
Deadeyes having that position into his
Hmm.
Rozok. I think they're gonna enjoy themselves sitting over there. To be honest, because right now Rozok is if you have a final circle like Rozok, it kind of gets really critical. It kind of gets really tricky as to where the final circle is going to go around. Now you get yourself into those thought process of where you kind of start thinking,
Hmm.
is it going to go towards the northern side, or is it going to be inside the city of Rozok? Is it going to go towards certain hills of Rozok around the school area?
Hmm.
It can possibly go anywhere, and you've got those bridges, to add that extra bit of a spice, that extra bit of a masala that we really need. But moving on, PN crew, so now they're happy because the previous circle was certainly not favoring them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the previous circle wasn't really favoring them, but now P and crew are going to be a lot much more happy. As we did mention in that previous circle, they will have to make the rotation all the way from shooting range to military base, and we all do know what long of a distance that is going to be. So now P and crew are certainly going to be dancing onto their chairs as the circle is going to be favoring them as well, while they're going to be taking their sweet little time to loot. But for now, I really want to focus on the fact that the circle might actually pan out in the Yasnaya. The next circle might actually pan out in the Yasnaya region. And we all do know when the circle actually pans out in those open areas as well, we see so many slithering snakes and just so many fights being forced into each other. As we talk about fights being forced, it's going to be TUF and T2K fighting against each other. Thor is going to be the man actually to take a lot of damage, and certainly it's going to be T2K to put on an end onto Thor's life.
He was lost.
Yep.
He was in the wrong territory, to be honest, over there.
He thought
And
T2K were his members, but then he
yeah,
found out, oh no, it's not.
yeah, of course. I mean, Thor and Venom already been taken down right from the very start, and Thor and ESP not certainly are gonna have a good
Yep.
time
So
looting
basically,
anymore.
yeah. So basically, one of them is like the god of lightning, the god of thunder, and the other one is like a fake Thor.
I mean, to be honest, yeah. I mean,
That might be
so
happening.
you've got,
That might be the case.
I do not know how are they gonna communicate with each other. You've got two Thors
Yep.
in the lobby. Are they gonna call out like, "Hey, Thor one," or maybe
Thor.
Thor two, or what is it going to be? I mean, we really need to ask the players out.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe they call them by their initial names that their parents named them by, and maybe they call them by their real names, because that does make sense. If you're going to be having such, confusing names overall, then you will have to, pull out those real name cards, and that's how you are going to be using those as well. But for now, it seems like TTK are on a massive move as they are going to be securing those initial vehicles to actually make those early rotations inside the circle, and we all do know how important that early rotation is going to be, especially when you are going to be in the foot of TTK, because there are a lot of squads in the nearby vicinity, and especially one of them being TUF.
Yeah, I mean, TUF already two-man shot
Yep.
from their whole roster, but things are looking good for the players of T2K. I mean, I'm still kind of keen as to why we do not have Frankie, because I absolutely adore that player. The way he plays around, the way he impresses us with his performance. I mean, that's so beautiful to watch. But oh, all right. Hey, T2K, come on, go and take that fight. Yes, they've made that noise. ESP certainly should not have done
Oh
that as they
no.
go charging in, and ESP, he just might be in a whole world of trouble.
They are going to be hunting down the entire squad of TUF as ESP this time is going to be the victim, and he is getting hunted down by the entire squad of T2K. Look at this. There are three
And they're
members
looting.
inside the initial building, and then ESP barely trying to survive. He's panicking so much as he's just shooting those blank angles, and finally he will be taken down by the members of TUF, and it's going to be rated, sir, putting down a misery, putting the end onto his misery, and finally falling down. That's a little, I really feel bad for him there,
I mean, it was clearly visible.
Mhm.
To be honest, there was no need on earth to be spraying down on a moving squad. So these are those amateur
Yep.
rookie mistakes that you sort of try to make. I mean, T2K, they were just minding their own business. They were
Yep.
just passing by. They were on a stroll, and the next moment they realized that someone is shooting at them, and it was just one shot. So they were pretty clear that it was just that one guy. So many information was just given away from that one bullet being shot. So
Yep.
as a result of that, they just had to go in, push in, get the kill, and they move out. They're looking good again. But here is the fight that lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, 7C versus Team Venom Legends,
Yep.
representing the boys in pink. That is, of course, 7C, and we have the boys in orange. That's going to be Venom Legends. Steel Shot, of course, being one of those players, one of those iconic players who's made certain plays in Erangel that are kind of latched on to the history of PUBG Mobile. Can he, give us a reputation of what he has done in the past?
Yeah, exactly. You made it sound like there was a wrestling match going on between them, but for now, it seems like
It's a
Venom
rumble, to
Legends.
be
Yeah,
honest.
it is. It is a rumble. It is the exact rumble that is going to be happening, and which team is going to be coming out on top in this situation? Of course, it's going to be more kind of like the thing that we all want to watch out for, because of course, Venom Legends being the team that you always like to root for, and certainly they're not really on top of their peak. They're not really able to perform, which actually does make you a little upset somewhere down the line. But still, Venom Legends, they do still have a chance. They can still step their gameplay up. They can still actually mow down squads if they decide to do so. And just overall, all they need to do is just find that little good sweet spot for them, and just overall communication. Maybe it can be on point. Maybe the communication can be improved a little bit. Then I really feel like Venom Legends is going to be an absolute destructive squad.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly will be. But here we have, the boys from T2K. They're enjoying themselves. They're just enjoying that breeze. And rated, blah blah blah. They are loving the Tommy guns. They are already my favorites because I have been rooting for this gun since a lot of long time. Even before it kind of got that buff, because the kind of utility that this weapon provides. You've got that hip fire accuracy completely on point. You've got that 50 max. You just spray and pray, and adding along to how strong this weapon can be, you've got, of course, if you have that vertical grip and the suppressor, it's a mean monster in those final circles. All you have to do is just prone down and spray. Your opponents will not even have the slightest idea as to where the shots are coming from, considering it's an SMG. So a lot of added benefits with the weapon, and just adding on a red dot or a holographic sign is like an icing on the cake.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is going to be a massive factor. And of course, as you did mention, those sites actually being a cherry on top of the cake is going to be more kind of like those important factor. Because of course, aiming down with iron sight is much more a harder task to do than if you're going to be having those sites helping you to get a more clear vision. And as we talk about being a clearer vision, we are going to be seeing a clear magazine with that M249 coming in, the big boy, the big beast inside the map, which I like to call it as lawnmower, with that level 3 helmet and West, of course. And then I really want to see now. Of course, there were some squads in those nearby vicinities. Are they going to be going for that M249? I mean, of course, they need to go for it, right? If it's a free drop right next to you, then why not? You need to just grab your hands along it and you just need to hug that airdrop.
Well, right now, Thor. Do you think can he channel his inner god within?
Well, to be honest, I really feel like he can because he's the Thor. He's the god of destruction or the god of lightning, and he can certainly make that happen. But for now, it seems like the destruction is going to be continuing on the members of Deadeyes as they have already lost 2 players in the fight. It's going to be high voltage, making things so much more difficult. But Hungry Box finally finding a kill, finally finding an opening onto the players of high voltage. It's going to be Hungry Box taken down there. Now that's gonna be it's gonna be the players of players of high voltage going down. It's gonna be Cooney. Now a massive casualty, of course, Cooney being one of the best players that high voltage has to offer. But still, Extreme is there somewhere down line in those backlines. But INES are gonna be the third party in this fight, and they're gonna be making things so much more difficult for Deadeyes. This is not good. Deadeyes are in a massive water trouble.
I mean, they love to do that. We have seen that in the past as well. But right now, we've got the players of high voltage. You know, they've lost out on Cooney, the one big murderous person, and they've got to work it out without him. But on the plus side, they've gotten that one kill, so that's gonna be looking a little bright for them. But with that being said, Deadeyes. They got in such a sticky situation. Now they were engaging in the fight, and
Yep.
suddenly, this is in the bloods of the players of Team Ionis. Hey, it's completely allowed. It's legal. You take down squads, you third party them, you fourth party them. I do not care as long as you're getting kills, and we and all our audience are getting to witness that beautiful bloody action.
Exactly, and this is the live demonstration of hunters are being the hunted, and this is exactly what happened to Deadeyes. Now, Hungry Box being the last man surviving, what exactly happens? Deadeyes had such a massive hand, such a massive advantage in the entire fight over there, and still they managed to lose out on that fight. And Hungry Box barely surviving in that little bush, being the bush, to be honest. He's blending inside the bush perfectly. And now it seems like he's going to be surviving for a while as INES have not put their eyes onto him. And it seems like High Voltage are going to be taking a clever exit out of the fight because they do know they do not really want to challenge the gods INES because they have the top hilltop position, and even the overall position they have taken in those late game situations is just overall good. If you want to challenge the fight against them, then you will have to close the distance down. And when you're going to be closing the distance down, INES, if they manage to spot you, then you're basically done so.
Look at the circle, Necro. I mean, this is really interesting. This is really exciting because, Rozok Circle, that's exactly what I wanted, to be honest. And, well, we have a fight already breaking out. 7C, they're in a whole world of trouble as Rig has already been taken down. Fear is not making a lot of movements as he's finally managed to spot down Steel Shot. But, Nightwing providing that beautiful quintessential cover fire and will manage to knock him down. And with that, down goes 7C. Now, this is huge for Venom Legends. This is exactly what they needed. And just as we were speaking, Void joins the party. And he was not there during the fight, but nobody saw that. Nobody saw that.
But I mean, he's there to help his teammates to loot. He's there to back.
Yeah,
he's got
guys,
their back.
You've got that one player in the squad every single time. All these 3 players, they'll get those kills, and then the 4th player will just come. Hey guys, I was just providing that cover fire for you guys, and will come and I deserve a part of the loot. I deserve those first aids. I deserve that utility, and. We all have experienced this, to be honest. Trust me on that.
Yeah, we have experienced such kind of things, of course, in the past, but Venom Legends are going to be the victims for that experience of Zell. Now it does seem like Venom Legends have come out on top in this legendary fight, and for a real long time there was just a cold war going on between 7C and Venom Legends, but finally the fight broke down and Venom Legends stood out on top, and that was an absolute clean wipe coming in from these lands. And now seems like White is going to be taking his sweet time to loot again. This was the man who actually came in the last and was helping his teammates to loot. And again, seems like he's going to be taking his sweet little time while his teammates are making a move. But now seems like there is a fight breaking down between God's Reborn and INES. And we do know what God's Reborn is capable of. In the first game, they did show a little glimpse of their gameplay. And take a look at Freestyle. What are they doing? They're not scared of anyone as they are going to be ramming their vehicle straight into the compound of INES.
I mean, this is going to be really critical, and I'm really feeling bad about the players of Deadeyes because the kind of a position they had, they did not really even have to leave Rozok. But look at Freestyle, they're completely engaging onto its players of INES. Vegeta just, continuing with his barrage of grenades over there. But how long is he going to survive the onslaught? He's being spotted out, not just from one angle, but from 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's definitely going to be more kind of like you are getting seal pack from all across the angles. But for now, Freestyle as well are in a massive water trouble as Gods Reborn have their eyes locked onto both of these squads. And now INES are certainly not struggling that much because they have the compound, they have the entire house on their name. And they are not going to be struggling anytime soon as Freestyle are still going to be taking a heavy damage. And Mulek going down with that frag grenade. And take a look at Tyrant's HP. He's barely surviving on that 2 HP. Now he's going to be bandaging himself up because he is struggling with those meds. And he needs those meds in his backpack. So he's going to be looting his teammate's dead body, which is definitely going to be putting him a little, in a bad spot, because if you're going to be the player who is waiting for your teammate to die and then you're going to be looting his grave, then that's not going to be a real, good impression overall for your team.
Yeah, it certainly will not be. But here you have the players of Freestyle actually making the push. It's Tyrant going after Newt. Can he get that beautiful knock? Because they are on level grounds. They've taken the first floor. A few shots here exchanged between these two lads. And Newt does have that DP. But look at Tyrant. He's continuing the onslaught. And, well, Newt has managed to, just enter inside that little panic room that we have. And will, of course, want to reload his mag. And has sort of given away his sound. And that comes that beautiful grenade. Does he even realize it's over there? Had he just cooked it a bit longer, he would have been a dead piece of meat. But Tyrant lobbing another beautiful grenade to its Halo. He's basically a dunzo, a darn cause over there. And Tyrant will of course get the confirmation, of course, getting a lot of damage onto it himself. But then he just clutches it out, and Freestyle somehow surviving by the whiskers. They managed to do it.
Exactly. That was an absolutely incredible push from Freestyle there. They actually pushed right in time, and this is when they got the enemy team, which was INES, actually got punished real hard. But for now, it seems like there is going to be a legendary fight erupting as T2K and STALWARTxFLEX are still inside a Cold War. Now, it seems like T2K have spotted them, but for now, I'm going to hold on to my word as R3D are going to be taking a step forward as they have already secured a knock onto their enemy team, and then it's going to be High Voltage Aussie as well, following it up with another frag. And there's just so many fights breaking down. It's going to be High Voltage again, making PN Crew punish, making PN Crew suffer over there. But for now, it seems like another fight is going to be erupting between TUF Thor. Now, of course, Thor was the man that we actually opted out for. We actually want this man to survive in those late game situations, but it's going to be Gods Reborn. They are not going to let this happen as Thor is getting pushed. He's getting pushed from all members of Gods Reborn, and this might not actually work out in his favor. Now, Thor is lobbing those nades. He's trying his best to keep Gods Reborn contested in that below area, but this Molotov is going to be flushing him out. He's taking so much damage from the Molotov. Thor is not, he has accepted his death, and finally he's going to be sitting in a corner without any guns out, and finally he will be going down as well.
The Pyro Trial, as we call it. He wanted to cleanse himself of all the sins he's committed, multiple murders of all the players that he's done inside the lobby. And the God of Thunder is no more with us, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, we just have 13 teams. Well, make that 12. 41 players still alive, and it's the Rozok circle that we have been talking about as Hungry Box finally falls down to his injuries and goes down. But Blood Legion, all right. So we do not have Gyro. So they're kind of, switching things here and there. So they're giving ample chances to every single player. That is the kind of a conclusion that I'm making from around here. But seems like Shaw was pretty much not happy with, staying alive. Made a huge plunge and fell down onto his feet and got knocked out. And the same case happened with his teammate as well.
Exactly, but for now, it seems like T2K have spotted out the players of Blood Legions, and Blood Legion are down to just a 3-man squad as Dominic is going to be taking a lot of fire, but still he has made it to safety. And certainly we wanted to see Dominic in play. It seems like he will be finally in play as Dominic, Nuclea, and Rayan are going to be the last 3 members surviving for Blood Legion. And of course, they are under heavy fire from T2K as it's going to be blah, 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 locking his eye out. And then Leo is kind of separated away from his squad. Of course, he's going to be in that little shack there, all the way in the back lines. But certainly, as we do know, when the circle is going to be shrinking down, you need to stick together with your squad to actually help them out. And if you're going to be away from them, then that's going to be a little disadvantage. But take a look at this. Stalwart are going to be making a way near T2K, and this might be a massive fight erupting as Stalwart are in the close range, and T2K have have already lost onto a player. It's going to be High Voltage taking the first initial step, and then XP Blood Legion are stepping it up as well, as they have found the frags onto the players of God's Reborn, and now T2K are in a massive water trouble. With Surge has went down. Rated Sir is going to be sticking the reds, as STALWARTxFLEX is still going to be pushing away onto them.
Yeah, right now. Oh, blah blah blah.
He naded himself.
Does he realize that? Does he realize that? I mean, I'm in awe. If he goes down to the nade, I'll be shocked right now. But now the players of STALWARTxFLEX, you know, they've managed to get a few knocks here and there, and have lost out on Uzum, whom they would want to get back on his feet anytime soon. But right now, what we do want to see over here is how STALWARTxFLEX are going to contest for that upper ground. And there you go, Crypto with that beautiful, beautiful Kobe. I'm sure he must be proud of him. And connecting it again and just moving down the squad, just blowing them off. And Crypto finally getting that breathing space to go in there for the revive, as Johnny will get the vehicle or maybe the cover. And be wary, because NFPxSky are right beside them.
As NFP is going to be the uninvited guest in the party, and of course Stalwart is not going to be happy about them, so they are going to be waiting for them to actually get cleanly wiped from either them or even in the squads in the nearby vicinity, as Venom Legends is going to be joining them as well. But for now, seems like there is going to be fight erupting between the players of R3D and PN Crew, as PN Crew is going to be lobbing some nades in onto the upper vicinity, but as there is another fight erupting between the players of NFP. It's going to be STALWARTxFLEX taking so much shots onto the players of NFP, but now it's going to be Johnny getting caught off guard in the open grounds, and the team players of Venom Legends are going to be the one to actually make things so much more difficult. Uzum spotting one of the players of Venom Legends. It's going to be Nightwing going down. Now Steel Shot, of course, is going to be in the nearby vicinity, but he needs to get the res on his teammates. Now STALWARTxFLEX are in a massive water trouble, as their squad is just down to those last two members. Crypto getting that res onto the blade, and that's going to be a massive sigh of relief, as now STALWARTxFLEX can actually continue the domination, as Uzum might be the man to actually put things on the end for Venom Legends if they're not going to be watching out for him.
It was a lot of mistakes being made in these final circles, as we have the players of STALWARTxFLEX finally going after the boys from Venom Legends. You know, they are putting up quite a show, and this might be the game where they start to redeem themselves. But Crypto, look at him from the far lines. He did go and get their teammate back online, and with that has also managed to secure a knock for himself, as he's finally spotted out Frypan, and will get another knock connected, as he does not have a lot of first aids to, you know, just work it out with. He's got a few bandages to patch himself up, but at the same time, STALWARTxFLEX, they have this opportunity to make that push. Are they going to get inside the circle, or are they going to commit into the fight? We gotta let the time speak for itself, as finally we can see the players over here from STALWARTxFLEX going in for the push. Venom Legends, they were certainly doing good up until now, as Uzum just goes in and gets knocked out by Nightwing, who had a really good position, and will instantly wipe him out as the fight continues. Johnny pushing in. Can he get a knock? Can he get someone? Can he spot one of those players, as Point has just thrown around Frypan, traversing around the vehicle, and there it goes. Venom Legends have somehow contested this area and have managed to take the top spot.
Exactly. Now Venom Legends are the king of the hill, but now the circle is going to be more kind of like the deciding factor. If the circle is not going to be forced onto them, then they will have to be on the move. And then certainly if you're going to be on that downhill move, then you are going to be the center of attraction, as I would like to call it. But for now, it seems like God's Reborn are also going to be on that struggling side, as Yashiro going to be the man, actually the last man surviving for them. But Yashiro, we do know what he's capable of. But this might be the game of Blood Legions, because they have a real good position inside the circle, and they are kind of in those middle fray as well. This might be the game for them, but Venom Legends are on top of them. If Blood Legion make any kind of rookie mistakes, they might get caught off guard, as Yashiro is going to get spotted by the members of Blood Legion, but still PN Crew are on a move as well, as it's going to be Legend and Ayush, those last two initial men surviving for them. But there are so many squads in the nearby vicinity. The circle is ending on Rosehawk, and of course there's going to be so many buildings. There is so much cover, and now this is more kind of like the Cold War that is happening between a lot of squads, because they are just staring down on each other's compounds.
Yeah, I mean, this is how intense these final circles really tend to get, you know. 1952, alright, SharpX, that was not what you were supposed to do. That was not what he intended to do, as he takes down his own teammate over there. But Assassin will, of course, want to pick up every single first aid, every single smoke grenade that he can work things out with. But look at Ayush. He's got a lot of things, but he does not really have the blessings of the zone. And Ayush, he needs to patch himself up quick, or else he's just basically done so over there. But how is he going to get in, considering all the players of high voltage
No.
have gotten their eyes set on towards Ayush and will get the final nail in the coffin. And with that, a beautiful squad wipe.
Exactly. High voltage are way too aware, but now take a look at the circle shift. It's favoring the players of Venom Legends. Now, Venom Legends are the king of the hills, as the circle is also going to be favoring them, and a lot of teams will have to make the move. It's going to be 1952 as well. They will have to make the move. Even the players of High Voltage will have to make the move, and this is where they might actually meet their makers, because they will be out in the middle of nowhere, and of course, when they are going to be making the move, they probably won't have a lot of smoke grenades left, because up till now, they will have probably used a lot of their utilities, as Venom Legends are going to be locking down their sights onto the players of High Voltage. Certainly, they do seem like they have heard a lot of shots in that area, and they will be looking onto that side, as it's going to be an assassin taking a little bit of damage in that opening rotation coming in from their side, and now it's going to be the rest of the members of High Voltage making a move as well. And Frypan trying his best to spot any of those rotations out, but doesn't really seem like that's going to be possible, because the tree is actually blocking his vision. And now look at this. Blood Legion do have the zone in their hand, and they are making 1952 work for that. Now Blood Legion, of course, retaliating in style. They are throwing so many nades in there. They are going to be getting another knockdown. 1952 are down to a last man surviving, and it's going to be dominated, doing so much damage into that process. And of course, that's going to be the entire squad of 1952 going down. Now it's the trifecta of death.
I mean, those grenades, they were accurate, they were precise, they were deadly, and they packed a lot of punch. As Blood Legion, they are holding on to this compound so very well. And with that being said, High Voltage, it's very less likely that they can really cross the road, because the moment they lob that smoke, that's where they've given up the position, right? The moment they come out in the open, and rather Extreme comes out in the open, he's a dead man standing. And there you have him. He's been taken out of the equation, but look at Venom Legends. I think the stars have aligned. This is where Venom Legends claim their lost glory that we've been talking about. Blood Legion, of course, taking quite some damage over there. As you can see, Aussie has already engaged in a heal battle of his own, and he's got 8 first aids to work out with. But we've got to see as to whether or not he get the second spot, if not the first.
Well, I mean, exactly. Seems like Blood Legion are not going to be giving that win away that easily, as Aussie is finally going to be falling down. Now, it's just down to these two standoffs that is going to be happening. Venom Legends, of course, they are just going to be surviving on those two last man standing. XP Blood Legions are on the move. They want this aggression to happen. They want this fight to happen, as Frypan is going to be spawning them on the move as well. Now, seems like Nightwing is finally going to be reviving his teammate. It's going to be Void again back on his feet, but Nightwing will certainly be there to actually provide that cover from the backlines, and he's trying his best to reposition himself. But take a look at this. Blood Legions are not going to be backing off anytime soon, as they are still on the move. They are going to be pushing up top the hill as well now. They are not going to be scared of anyone, as they are using so many smoke grenades in the process. Rayan still on that right flank over there. He does not really want to give his position away that easily, as there are so many utilities being used in the process. Now Venom Legends do have that higher ground in the entire situation. They do have a little bit of advantage. Look at what Frypan is doing. He's an absolute psychopath. He's just going to be driving the vehicle straight into Blood Legion. And of course, that is going to be a little bit of distracting factor for Blood Legion, as Venom Legends are breaking down so many fights over here. Venom Legends are in a massive water trouble, as it's just going to be down to that last man surviving for them. It's going to be Void barely surviving with that sliver of HP, but Nuclea as well, the last man surviving for Blood Legions. How long is he going to be able to take the fight in his hands? That's going to be more kind of like a distracting factor.
I mean, that's going to be pretty interesting, but right now, what we do see is there's two men, going after each other. Void has certainly given up his position. Nuclear rather going for the wrong decision, but how on earth has he clutched this one out as he gets the final kill? And all pertaining to that one peak where he did get the glimpse of Void coming in, just rising up and taking those shots. And oh my goodness, what an intense matchup that was. Blood Legion walking off with the chicken dinner, and Venom Legends, a lot of questions can be, of course, made. The way they performed, that was so great, that was so phenomenal in those starting phases. But after that, Frypan just taking the plunge of death with his vehicle. Why is the question over here, because this was certainly their game. I mean, they had the higher ground, they had to get inside the zone, and for things like that, what you need to do right now in cases like that is have one of your players behind, remainder 3 push. the other guy from the backline will be the one providing you that aerial support that you need.
Mhm.
That was as simple as that, you know. But somewhere down the line, Venom Legends are still trying to crack the code. They're still trying to figure out that synergy amongst themselves. But Blood Legion, you know, they've been a band of brothers right from the very start. And Nuclear is certainly one of those players that has started impressing me. This is one of the names that I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out for, because the way he's been playing, even yesterday we did see a lot of promising performance, and Blood Legion got this chicken dinner even without Cairo, and it's the second one in 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Nuclear certainly being more kind of like that, overall that switch factor inside their roster,
Yeah.
and he has been replaced. Initially, he was replaced for Dominic, but this time seems like Dominic is going to be back, so Gyro is going to be absent over here, and Nuclear is going to be filling up his spot. But for now, it seems like overall Blood Legion squad have done an absolute incredible performance. They have done an absolute excellent job in overall getting that chicken dinner. And now I really feel like this win was actually gifted by Venom Legends to Blood Legion there, because Fry Pan made that, more kind of like that. I don't really know what move I would like to call it. That's why I just called it a psychopathic move, because that didn't really make sense. He just ran the vehicle straight into them, and it was more kind of like that, heroic entrance of a hero inside a movie, but it didn't really work out. It was more kind of like those one of those epic fail moments.
I mean, all right. So I would not like to further comment on that right now, but you know, we would love to take a look at the match rankings, because what you just said was actually really hilarious. To be honest, you know, the way he went in. Uh, he maybe wanted to go in for some vehicular manslaughter,
Yeah.
but he miserably failed.
Yeah.
That's what happened in that situation.
Yeah.
But you know, here we have the match rankings. You know, Blood Legion getting those 10 kills, 25 points. Venom Legends, you know, this is a good sign, right?
Yeah, this
This
is a
is a
good
good
sign. Yeah.
omen.
Yeah.
To be honest, 22 points, 10 kills. This is how Venom Legends are supposed to play.
Hmm.
This is how they've played in the past. This
Yeah.
is how the team performs during the PMPLs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Venom Legends certainly showing a sign of what they are capable of, and overall props to them as well, as they did actually contested the initial position from T2K. They stole that. They stole that. They robbed away that position from T2K. They wiped out the entire existence of T2K, and then they managed to, secure that position that they had. And the overall performance they showed on top of the hilltop was just absolutely incredible, because defending a high ground position is certainly not easy. And if you're going to be still staying alive in those initial 1v1 face offs, in overall, when you're having that, overall high ground advantage in the situation, when you are being the center of attraction, that is going to be more kind of like a difficult factor to go inside of. Venom Legends have actually proved themselves being so great in overall, being aware of their overall surroundings, and they just played it real good.
Yeah, they certainly did. No questions on that. And you know, Venom Legends, of course, are living up to the name, being the legends they are. Finally, I believe the Bangladeshi fans have a reason to celebrate. Their favorite team is back. But well, you certainly have new favorites every single
Yep.
time. And Blood Legion are the new hot thing in town. And you know, they've been loved the kind of support that they've been getting. But now let's take a look at the kill leaders to see which are those individualistic players that did rise up to the occasion. And no second thoughts, you know, it has to be Dominic, has to be players like a Nightwing,
Yep.
Frypan, but Crypto, we can't really rule him out, right? The
Mhm.
way he kind of performed when he was making the push towards the hilltop over there against the players of Venom Legends, you know, that is also one of the fights where. You know, STALWARTxFLEX kind of sort of messed it up, because being really clumsy in that kind of situation, they were not confident while they were pushing. They did not really have enough information to work out with. So, as a
Yeah, yeah.
result of which, they got taken down. Because for one single moment, I thought that was going to be an easy squad wipe for when you know, for the boys of STALWARTxFLEX, but that did not happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as you did mention it out, they were more kind of like forced to leave the overall initial school position they had, and then they were forced to actually take the high ground advantage inside the fight. And they didn't really have much more information on the team that was on top of the hill. It was, of course, Venom Legends on the left side, and then it was T2K in more kind of like the inside the watchtower area. And that was the main
Yeah.
area that STALWARTxFLEX was aiming for. But certainly they got third party by NFP, Venom Legends, and then again, T2K was just there in the initial party. And NFP kind of being the more kind of like those uninvited people, they were, they were certainly being more kind of like those little scrawny people.
Yeah, they certainly were. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the overall standings, the final leaderboard of the evening, as we see STALWARTxFLEX, of course, getting that lead. 3 points is what they had to, get to topple over F4, and they've done that in fashion. And, F4 Esports not really far behind, just 4 points difference between STALWARTxFLEX and them. Train to Kill, they've done quite a decent job. 84 points, third position. Futurestation remaining constant. But Blood Legion, they're certainly taking the rise. And consistency is something that they can really work out on, because having two chicken dinners and being at the eighth spot is certainly not where I would want to see them. But I really love what Nuclear is
Yeah,
putting on the table,
yeah,
those
yeah.
latest addition, and every single player doing their job.
Yeah, exactly. The Blood Legion roster is actually doing really good overall now. It's certainly yesterday was where they actually started to realize how they are going to be playing it out, and then now this time today they are putting a live demonstration of overall how they have practiced in the overall meantime they get off these tournaments, of course. And then Blood Legion are doing a real great job in putting away those overall strategies they are doing. And I really feel like Blood Legion are not really the Blood Legions that we saw in the PMCO. They're more kind of like on that passive end this time. They are playing it split. They're playing it out safe. They're not really being too aggressive. But in the end, that when there was a 1v1 face off going on, we did
Yeah.
see Blood Legion actually taking that aggressive step, and that is exactly what I want to say. That is the Blood Legions that we were missing.
Yes, and finally, we are getting glimpses of that, and we really hope as the days continue with the scrims, they kind of tend to have the domination in front of all the teams out there. But PMBL being just around the corner, I think things have started to really get even more hot. But that being said, nowadays we are getting to see that trend where the Bangladeshi region is, stepping up. They are the ones who are starting to own things around. But Pakistan region is still on top of the leaderboards. But how long is the question? But with that, ladies and gentlemen, finally we are done with the matches of today's evening. We will be really back soon after a couple of days. Till then, you guys just take care. Bye bye. I love you all.